We on? Yeah. Is this thing on? Let's go. Yo, 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 yo.
You defy the god of war? You think they know what we're doing? Well, we're not here to sell cookies.
Not recording.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Welcome back.
You know you like that. You know you like that. You know you like that. You know you like that.
Welcome back
You know you like
to
that.
Controlled Substance Dose 11. We've been on the hiatus for a while. I'm Ace, your favorite commentator.
I wish you was on
Favorite
a hiatus.
commentator. Console controllers, man.
Hiatus came up to what we did. They be like,
that
you on
ain't
a hiatus.
hiatus. That's
Hiatus look at us like, yo, you
that's an
can't-
exile right there. We've been on the exile.
I'm a hiatus. You, I don't know what that is. Nah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, I'm Ace. Y'all remember me from a long time ago. I've been away for a while. I was in the military. I got injured. I was in basic training, and I got injured during basic training. So I'm back now. I'm actually getting, benefits and stuff. So it wasn't all a loss, but I'm back now at CCU. Ready and stronger than ever. So ready to get the ball rolling and give y'all some good content as far as podcasts and everything else. So I'm over here with who? Who am I here with?
SchollA ain't go nowhere. He was just grinding, writing these articles for y'all.
Right.
Y'all seem to be enjoying them. I'm gonna keep writing them. Keep checking the site out. Keep, helping us grow to what we want to be,
Right.
which is the site that builds community and is very pure. Just two gamers, or when we have the team, just everybody anything that embodies gaming and about games and games,
Mhm.
not the corporate extraness that a lot of us have to deal with and sift through. We just gonna be y'all.
Yep.
Just happen to have a website. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. We people just like y'all. We gamers just like y'all. We most of the time we'll have the same type of angles. The way y'all look at games, we look at it too because we're fans like y'all. So we talk about real stuff, and we try to relate as much as we can. So just feel free to chime in if you need to on the comment section. Stay active. If you see us on Twitter and stuff like that, hit us up. On Facebook. I'm gonna try my best too. I know I ain't the greatest right now with it, but I gotta get used to that whole Twitter thing, cause that's just something I gotta learn. But so
Well, it's good to have you back, podcast partner.
yes sir,
Partner. How you say it?
partner.
Partner.
What you say, partner?
Partner. So now that you're back, what's been controlling you? I mean,
Oh, man.
what games you
It-
been?
Think about it, man. Think about how long I've been away. I've been away for like
You
almost a year. Almost a year, right? I've been away since I would say Assassin's Creed 3 came out.
So when you left, it was the end of last year, right?
It was the end of last year, so it was around Far Cry 3, Assassin's
So
Creed.
you missed the
3.
biggest year in gaming.
Yeah, I mean,
No Tomb Raider, no The Last
Yeah,
of Us, no
no BioShock Inf.
BioShock Inf, no
What else you got? Crisis
no
3.
Splinter Cell,
No Splinter Cell. None of that.
no whatever,
Yeah,
everything.
it's just everything. So what's been controlling me? I took some time out when I first got back to try to beat, as much games, to catch up on as much games as I could at the time. So I did. I started on. I went on my Steam list because I do play, on the computer. So I went on my Steam list and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and start alphabetical order. So at the top of the list was Assassin's Creed. So I pretty much got caught up to the series because the last Assassin's Creed before I left, I played was the first one. That was the only one I played at the time. And we was already on 3 at the time. So I had to catch all the way up. So now I'm caught up. I done beat all Assassin's Creeds. Except 3. I'm working on that now. And I just got 4 literally today. So that's another thing I gotta play as well. What else I've been up to? I also beat. I know I beat some other games. I just can't remember exactly what I beat.
Super Mario World 2?
Nah.
Your backlog crazy, dog.
Yeah, my backlog is crazy. Oh, I beat Dead Space 3, right? Which
you
wasn't.
Did?
Yeah.
How? I think you told me it was trash. I didn't know you beat it.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I mean, that game right there, like, I played with another person, a buddy of mine, and yeah, it's at least playable when you're playing with somebody else. But I mean, if you're not playing with nobody else, I mean, that game, you don't even want to touch it. Be honest with you. I mean, that game is probably one of the worst games I played this generation, in my opinion.
Man,
and
I know how you really feel.
Yeah, and Dead Space 1, I was surprised because the only other Dead Space I played was Dead Space 1, and Dead Space 1 left me off, feeling hype, for the next one. I regret not playing 2 before I played 3, but my buddy was really encouraging me to play that one, and it was only I'm talking about like $1 on the humble bundle, and for those you don't know, the humble bundles are like some things online, like. If you're a PC gamer, you can go to that website and they'll have like a donations thing, and it'll be for a good cause. I think for that instance, it was like breast cancer or something. And when you go ahead and do the whole donation, they'll tell you, okay, we have like 6 games you could buy for $1. Now I know $1 is not it's not a good thing for donations and stuff. But and it looks bad on you. But if you're thinking about it as, man, let me get all these games for $1. Yeah. But the cool thing about it is that they'll have 6 games that you can unlock for at the very least $1. But if they'll have 2 or 3 more games at the bottom, and they'll give you more incentive to add more money. So I didn't only spend $1. I spent like $20 or whatever. That's still a little cheap. But at the same time, it's better than what most people would do. But in any case, I just want to explain to y'all that I got that, played it, didn't like it. It was very action orientated, very predictable storyline. Nothing. They did have some new aspects, but I felt like I was using the same weapons that I used in the beginning. The only thing that really changes is that you can mix and match a lot more as far as the weapon customizations. They had a couple of new suits, which is to be expected. At the end of the day, it was just very bland to me. It was nothing inspiring or emotional about it. So that's my take on that.
So what you trying to tell me is that you wanted your money back?
I did. That little $2 I paid for it. That little $1 that I could have paid for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think it was worth that. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's a lotto ticket. That's a Happy Meal. That's a little bit of gas in the tank.
Water waters. That's, I think you get a beef patty.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cocoa bread with that.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But so I beat that. I did beat. Because somebody had bought me while I was gone. Somebody bought me. One of my subscribers from YouTube bought me Dishonored. And I thanked him for that. And he bought me all the DLC as well. So I didn't get a chance to beat the DLC or even touch it. But I did beat the base game, Dishonored. And it was a good game. It was good. But it's not something I would go back to.
Dishonored. What is that about?
Dishonored is like a stealth game where you have like a whole bunch of different powers. Like you have this one blink attack where you could just teleport behind somebody and take them out, assassinate them, and stuff like that. But the premise of the game is that you are an assassin, but you are like I think it was this queen or something, like bodyguard, and you got framed. I'm not gonna say how, but you got framed, and basically you got put in a situation where you got to get out of, and one thing leads to another. But it's a good Assassin's game. It's almost like Assassin's Creed, but in first person. It's a first person game. And you know, it has a lot of nice, cool aspects about it that makes it a little different. Nice setting. The setting is awesome. You know, the places you go to. I love the city of Dunwall. You know, it's great. The voice acting was great. You know, I like the art design. It was like, you know how some games, kind of like BioShock Infinite, you know how that game in particular doesn't really go for the ultra realistic. It's more on the Pixar, you know, basically cartoony type vibe. That's how that one was. Even though it was some graphic, mature things in it, it just the art style of it, the way it looked, had that vibe. So, but overall, I liked the game. Like I said, it was good, but it wasn't great in my opinion. So that was cool. And you know what else I've been playing? I got Need for Speed Rivals today, earlier today, and this morning actually, and I got a little bit of time to play with it before the cast. And I will say I love the game, but like it's two or three like crucial things that I see that's holding it back for being like one of the best racing games of all time. One of the things is, yeah, I would say right now, one of the main things all right, let me start from minor things, right? It's minor and major all at the same time. And people make a big fuss. People been making a big fuss about this with the consoles, the next generation consoles and stuff like that. But basically, the developers thought it was a good idea to lock the game at 30 frames per second on the PC. And I think this was just because of the console. Now, I'm pissed off because when I play the game, I'm not used to 30 frames, so it looks very off to me. Like it doesn't look graphically, like I can't appreciate the graphics because it's very, like it's almost as if like that frame rate loss like takes away from the way it looked graphically. You know what I'm saying? Like it smudges all the graphics out. You can't really appreciate it right then and there, especially when you like going really at really high speeds. Can't really appreciate it as much as you probably could if you was at 60. So that's one of the things I didn't like. The other thing I didn't like is how complicated they make it like the system, like the way it's built is very like complicated and it's hard. Like if I wanted to like send a message, like talk to some, like they make this game seem like it's the ultimate social experience, and to a certain extent it is. But if I wanted to talk to somebody, I don't even know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no tutorial on how you talk to people. Just something as simple as talking. I can't text. Like I can't like pull up a little chat thing and text people in the game. And they have a something in the menu that says that you can do the voice input output, but I don't know how to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like there's like a huge like barrier in between me and other players. Yes, I can play with them and I see them in the world driving around, but I can't really communicate or, you know, become friends and team up with each other or race each other and stuff like that and be like, oh, you meet me over here and then we'll do this thing or whatever. Can't do anything, you know, unless I knew them outside of the game Origin. I mean, Need for Speed. So, and from that aspect, I don't like how they made it so hard to communicate. A lot of the other things is like, you know, they have a system built in place like where you got to build up these points, and when you get the points, you do unlock different parts of the vehicle, customization, make it faster, performance, and these new things where you can. It's like kind of like Mario Kart, where you had this thing called EMP. You get behind a person and you lock on your EMP and then you hit the button, and basically it disables the car engine, and that car go crashing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just only one of them. You can deploy like spice strips behind you, so if the car's coming up behind you, they can hit the spice strips and their tires blow out and they start spinning and crash. And it's a whole bunch of like different things. Like you can even call on the helicopter, to like, and it dog. But the game looks so good graphically that when you call in that, you got this helicopter and it sounds like the sound effects and the sound design in the game is so good that you really like feel immersed. So when this helicopter come in and you hear these engines like revving, going at high speeds and stuff like that, it's just chaos. And you got all these cops and all these racers racing each other, and it's just the cops trying to take you out while you trying to race. At the same time, the cops trying to take you out and they deploying all these things against you. You trying to go win the race against other racers, and they also have tools and weapons to use against you as well. You know what I'm saying? And it's just all this is done with this crazy look, great, beautiful environment that they made, because the map of the game is just crazy, mind blowing. But let me go back to the negatives though. So that was another thing. It was like really clunky as far as like, you know, navigating and understanding what everything is. They even have tutorials, video tutorials, and even that doesn't really explain it how it's supposed to. So that's another thing. And what else? What was another thing that I really didn't like? I would say I didn't like how it was always. I don't fully understand the system, but from what I get from it, I think that, and this could be a benefit to the doubt, you know, whatever. But what I think is, what I found was like, if I'm in the menu and I'm like, let's say I'm just going through the map and I'm looking for the people on the map and stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go and stuff like that. And I'm sitting still on the side of the road doing nothing. I ain't bothering nobody. I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, police just come over there and try to bust me, and they come in and crash in. They bring in the whole force to come and get me, and I ain't do nothing. So what I'm thinking is, because as you play the game, you get this heat level, right? So the more chaos you bring into the city, the more heat level you get. So I'm thinking if you got any kind of heat level, the cops, you're wanted from the cops. So it doesn't matter if you're not breaking the law at that one point in time.
Considered chaos.
Chaos is like wrecking. Like, all right, let's say you have a high speed chase, and running away from the cops, right? Mm-hmm. And you manage to, in the process of running away from the cops, you manage to like wreck like two cops' cars, and then you get away. Mm-hmm. Well, they don't like getting away, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, that makes you look better as a racer because, like, oh man, this dude actually got away. Mm-hmm. So, but the cops don't like that, so that brings up the heat. You got more heat on you. You're like, okay, yeah, this dude broke the law. He did, you know, he hit this civilian car and he destroyed these two cop vehicles, but we can't find them now. So, but when we do find them, you know, it's on. Mm-hmm. So I think
where's the setting at?
The setting is some random made up. I think it's a fictional county called Redview County, but it's the setting itself. Like if you're talking about as far as like the environment, like the stuff that you see in the game, you see everything. You go from the mountains to like a forest where you see these very tall like trees, and dog, the particle effects is stupid. It's just crazy, man. Like you see like all the leaves like just falling down and paper from, you know, like random paper, huh?
You passed through like residential areas.
I did. I passed through a little bit of residential areas, and yeah, they have that. And that was cool. Of course, they don't have pedestrians to just run over or something like that, because that's not really the point of the game. But
so yeah, you were saying about the leaves and the...
Oh yeah. So they got all right. So you'll see like random leaves falling from trees. You'll see like paper flying. You'll see debris from your car, like if you hit something, you see little debris flying from your vehicle. There's a lot of destruction. You know, it's using the Frostbite 3 engine from Battlefield. So I love it because it's in other racers, anything that you hit would be an automatic crash. Like it's a dead concrete wall. So if you hit like some You know those plants, you know, like when they shaped as a rectangle, like they're trimmed and they're nice and shaped as a rectangle. And they go in like in the line and stuff like that. Like so let's say like it's a plant, right?
Mhm.
And it grows, but the gardener trims it so that it's shaped perfectly, right? As a rectangle.
Mhm.
So, but in any other racing game, you're driving and then you end up running to it, you hit a brick wall, bomb. You're done.
Yeah. I hate,
But
I hate oh, that's another thing. Grass brick walls.
yeah. You
Gotta
know what
go.
I'm saying?
But
Yeah. So in this game, it appreciates that. So you go through the grass and then like you go through the little plants and then you don't crash. So you like because you think you're gonna crash, you think you're done, you're gone. But you keep going and you maintain that speed and it's like, oh shoot, this is a whole different type of game. You know what I'm saying? Or you may hit like a little post on the side of the road, or you may hit like a little bus stop. You know, like anything like that. You go through it, it's destructible, so it breaks like it's supposed to, and you keep going.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's only things that actually make sense. And of course, that doesn't apply all the time because they do have like some barriers where you think that you can. And that's another thing I don't like in these newer games. Like they'll add like destruction, but it is to what extent? And I understand why they do it because they say, oh, they don't want you to destroy everything because the whole map would be chaos. You can't, and it's not playable. It won't be fun anymore. But still, like they'll have like let's say to you like you're driving down like a long road through the desert, and there's like a barrier to the left, right? And there's like I'm talking about like a metal barrier, and there's like little two cones like in the middle of the barrier, and you try to go through the cones, you can't go through it that time. But in another instance, on the other side of the map, those same two cones you could go through. So it's like you know what I'm saying? It's not really consistent when it comes to that. So you don't know what you could and what you can't go through. And but I mean, you don't really think about that stuff when you drive. You just drive it. And there's a lot of trial and error. But it's fun. It's fun and it's good to know that they actually you can push the bar further in this game, compared to other races and stuff. And it has an arcade feel, whereas if you hit a person head on and you're not going too high of a speed, you don't just automatically crash. Or you come around the corner like crazy fast and you hit like the side, you don't automatically crash. It's very forgiving, so that because they built the game so that you can like race at very high speeds and not even. I mean, you still got to care to a certain extent, not do nothing crazy like hit a medium, but still, you know, not have to worry so much about being perfect. You know what I'm saying? You could just go through and just fly through and just have a blast. So, one thing I would like to mention though is that it was crazy fun where I was racing this like this. What happened? I think I was doing my own race, and some random person, other racer, because the game goes by cops and racers. So this other racer just randomly comes up and bumps me from behind, and I didn't know it was a person until I saw his name. And then he proceeds to chase me while I'm trying to complete my mission. And then he brings two other cops that's also people, human beings, that's trying to take him down. They end up trying to take me down. So the way it works is I love the system because everything you do, if you crash somebody or you go against oncoming traffic or you have near misses, all that counts as points. And all those points add up and it goes to customization, like I said earlier. So, but if you get busted by the police, you lose all that points, right? So if you lose all the points, you have nothing, and you got to start all over from the beginning and build those points back up so you can bank it, because you got to go to these little hideouts where you can just cash in all those points and keep it so that you can use it for later. But you get the point is trying to make it there. So I had so many times where I was trying to make it back to the hideout and I just got busted and crashed and tried to make a jump, but I didn't have enough speed, so I didn't make the jump, and then they caught me. It was crazy, dog. So the potential is there to be just really good racer. But to get on the flip side, when I was trying to look for this person on the map, like let's say you pull up the map, right, and you see all these little people like driving around. When you put the little icon over them to hover over it, it doesn't tell you who that person is that you're over. So all you know is this is a person, but you don't know that who the person is, unless they have a picture. Now I have a picture on my account, but most people who I've seen in the game don't have pictures, so they all look the same to me. So I can't tell who's who, and I can't communicate, so I can't see who's who. Like I can't ask who's who. You know what I'm saying? So it's very social and not social all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like I said, it's crazy. I don't know. The game itself is bananas and it's great, but it's just a whole bunch of little small things that's stopping it from being good. And one more thing I didn't like was that like they'll have like let's say they have this big old map, right? And then they have these main roads. And then like let's say the main road goes around like a big chunk of map. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is like there's a bunch of like big chunks of map that you can't even drive through. It's only these like main roads and little side roads, but it's mostly the main roads. So there's big chunks of map that you can't even, it's almost as if it's like it's just for show. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't drive through that. Every piece of the map you can't drive through. You know what I'm saying? You can't explore. It's just like these main roads that they created. So that's something I didn't like. I don't know if they're going to expand upon it upon DLC or, you know, whatever the case may be, but I think they should have like let you drive any and everywhere. But I get the impression from this game that since it's a new studio and it's not Criterion, that they didn't get as much money as far as the investment for the publisher. So they had to make do with what they had, and they couldn't really, you know, really make that crazy game that they probably wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So they had to sacrifice a lot. That's the impression I get from this game. You know what I'm saying? So, and you could just tell, like, the advertisement is not like your typical advertisement where you would see from EA normally. You know, EA always love to go crazy on the promotional stuff and stuff like that. But this game, it was almost as if it didn't really exist. Like, I mean,
yeah, I got that feeling too.
Yeah, you see, I mean, you see, like, okay, at an event, they'll have, like, you know, one little person representing the company and just talking about it, you know, but it wasn't really a force. It wasn't really a movement for this game. And that's another thing that hurts it because it's like a lot of people didn't know about it, so a lot of people might not be playing it. You know what I'm saying? And if the community is not that big, how long is it going to last? And the game is really built to be a multiplayer game, so it's like I don't know how it's going to end up. Like I say, the game itself is great, but people may not know it's great, and a lot of people might not play it. So, but it's starting to see is on the console side. For PS4, I know that The Crew and what's that other game called? What's the other game called? The Crew and Drive Club.
Drive Club, yeah.
Yeah, those two are not. They was delayed. So the only real racer, if you wanted to get a racer, is Need for Speed. So on that side, yes, if you had to get that, and I heard the PS4 is the best looking version, and I don't put it past it because the version I have now on the PC, it looks great, but it has like a really weird filter on it. It's almost as if like you're looking at, you know, those like, you know, like you play a game and has a cutscene and it's like a movie, and it's not that it's not using in-game graphics, but since it's a movie, it just looks different and it looks a little weird. And when you get into the game, and when you get into the game, it looks like the filter is taken off and everything looks nice and right.
Yeah.
Well, in this game, it looked like the entire time you're playing it, you're playing like that little movie that's in the background. So, you know, that's something I don't really like. Like I want, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that and I really don't like in games that seems to be a trend lately is that stupid filter that's on the screen, depending on your situation. So let's say if I'm playing the first person shooter or I'm playing a racer or whatever, and I'm running through and I'm in a dirt environment, right? A real muddy environment. They have a filter on the screen where you see mud on the borders of the screen at all times. And if it's most noticeable when you're in like when it's raining
Yeah,
and you see
yeah,
the little
yeah.
droplets going down the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or sprinkles.
yeah,
I really don't like that because you don't feel like you there. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you
yeah.
looking through a visor or a
Right,
camera
right, right,
lens.
right.
You know what I'm saying? All the time. So if it get dirty, you see specks of dirt on this camera lens.
Right,
If
right.
it's wet, you see raindrops on the camera lens. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel like you there at the game. So, and it seems to be a trend for a lot of games lately. Like Crysis does it, the
Yeah.
Battlefield series does it. You know, now this Need for Speed Rivals does it. I mean, just ridiculous. So that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? What else I've been playing? Let me go through this real quick because I know I've been taking a lot of time. Uh, Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4. I've been
What
playing.
he's saying is you need a need for speed.
I need a Need for Speed. Need a Need for Speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, Battlefield 4, right? I played that. It's a great game when it works. Like I've had so many crashes and so much like freezes off of that game. I mean, it's ridiculous. Matter of fact, I've probably had more freezes and crashes than the beta itself. And that, I don't even know how you figure that to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not only multiplayer, it's a single player too. So,
That's the crazy part. When you first told me, I thought you was just talking multi.
yeah,
Single
no.
player to be crashing. That's some other stuff right there.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So, supposedly they fixing it and stuff like that, but as far as the game itself, I feel like it's Battlefield 3.5. You know, it's crazy because I was a Battlefield 3 fan, and I loved the game. It was great, and I felt like Battlefield 4 was going to be just pushing the bar even further. Like, wow, it's going to blow our minds. And when I got Battlefield 4, it does minor improvements in every area. Graphics, minor improvements. There's certain things in a game where you were like, okay, that looks a little better, or this gun looks a little better, or destruction looks a little better. That's cool. Nice particles here, nice particles there. But it's nothing mind blowing. They're using the same techniques. Like, for instance, like let's say let's say you're in a city, right? And then off in the distance, there's other buildings and stuff. Well, basically, they're using like a picture. So they put a big picture in the background, and you're looking at a picture instead of actual, buildings over there. You know what I'm saying? You're just looking at a two-dimensional picture, but it's off in the background. So that those little things that I thought we was past, but I guess we not yet.
In Battlefield. Wow.
Yeah, in Battlefield, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like in one of the main maps, Siege of Shanghai. That's what it is, you know what I'm saying? And there's some things it's like I think it even looked better in Battlefield 3 than it did in 4 in some aspects. So it's just I mean, I do like like the water looks a little better, but then again, I mean, everything is not perfect. So you're in a helicopter or something, and you're looking down at the water. The reflections from the sun is so noisy. It looks bad. You know what I'm saying? It looks you see all this light just on the surface, but it doesn't look real at all. It just looks very noisy. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a whole bunch of, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like a whole bunch of ripples of light that doesn't even, it's just too much. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a Christmas tree in the water. You know what I'm saying? of a whole bunch of lights. Just chilling on the water. You know what I'm saying? It's spring.
Maybe somebody went to get rid of their Christmas tree. You see,
Yeah,
that's the different detail I'm talking about. EA.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just exactly.
They got Christmas trees in the water, and my man, I don't think you're appreciating the level of detail.
It hurts my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I might have to go to the doctor for this, man. So I mean, and another thing is huge, right? You're in a helicopter. They got this huge skyscraper. The same one that you see in the trailers that go down and you could take down and stuff like that. So you ascending up to the top with your helicopter, and you're right in front of the glass. Guess what? No reflections. The reflections that you see on it, it's just fake reflections that they just pasted on it. So you can't even see your helicopter in front of the glass. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, dog. And it blows my mind, like, cause I'm like, that type of stuff I know they could do, but it probably goes back to we don't want to do it yet because we want something else later in the future that could really like blow people's minds, or maybe the hardware is not capable of it yet. I don't know, but I don't know, like, little things. It's like, okay, yeah, you showed me a little pizzazz here, little effects there, but it's nothing really revolutionary, that you're really showing me. So that's some things I didn't like. Of course, the multiplayer is fun, as always. They got these new modes where you have a bomb, and your team gotta go, pretty much locate the bomb and fight for it. So there's like a bomb in the middle of the map. Two teams got to go at it. Everybody killing each other and stuff like that. Whatever. Story, don't even think about the story. And I'm telling you, I'm a person that actually like Battlefield 3 story. I would argue that for anybody that says Battlefield 3 story was bad and, it was a waste of time and don't play it and stuff like that, I would argue those people. Because there is value in that story, and I did appreciate it. Battlefield 4, I'm sorry to say, but it's just not the same. It's just bad. Bad writing, bad plot, and some things just don't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. Like, they just throw you in a mix, and it's like, whoa, where did that come from? Like, what? That came way out the left field. Like, what are you talking about right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just when you're playing it, you don't feel attached. You don't feel there. Like, bad voice acting is one of the focal points of it. So it's like when that happens, it really takes you out of any experience that you would have been having at the time. You know what I'm saying? So, and I hate you have this guy that's with you, that's part of your squad, and he's with you almost all the time, and he's always, always, always telling you what to do. Hey, there's some ammo over there. You might want to pick it up. Hey, there's a new gun over there. Go pick it up. Oh, you need to get some more. You might want to hop in that tank. Because there might be some enemies ahead. Like, he just narrates everything. It's like, it gets annoying. You know what I'm saying? So I think games are really getting to the point where they think that their hands need to be held the entire game. But for one, if you have an M on your cover of your game, mature rating, there shouldn't be no hand holding. You know what I'm saying? Because that's telling me somebody 18 or older is buying this game, right? So if somebody 18 or older is buying this game, I'm pretty sure they know to do these simple things that you have these characters trying to tell you to do. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be on rails, all the time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like you're insulting the player's intelligence by putting some of this stuff in there. You don't need to explain to me every little bit and aspect of the game. You know what I'm saying? So that seems to be a trend, not with all games, because some games are doing really good. I see some, positive vibes and new techniques of storytelling I've never seen before. So I do have faith in storytelling the games, but some games, like most games that I'm starting to see, just don't do it right. You know what I'm saying? So in a nutshell, that's what I've been playing. That's
In a nutshell.
oh man.
What have I been? What's been controlling me? I basically been toggling. Well, I've been heavy on that Batman Origins, and but I've been toggling now that I've finished all 3 games, and the other 2 games is GTA 5 and Splinter Cell. Now that I've finished all of them, I am toggling between all 3. It was crazy because each game, me playing through, leaked into the other one's launch, so I wound up being behind everybody each time. So I'm playing Splinter Cell, GTA drop, and I didn't start GTA immediately. I had it like in the plastic sitting there. Oh, wow. Then I got through. I find, because Splinter Cell, Actually, all 3 games is cracking the bottle. Especially GTA 5 and Splinter Cell. They have elements to it that I really, really, really love. Splinter Cell's co-op is phenomenal, and I was like, yo, I have no business playing Splinter Cell right now. I should be moving on. And the way I play games, I have to play them one at a time. I can't really have 3 simultaneous games playing and then trying to get through them. I finish one, move to the next one. Finish one, move to the next one. So then I got to GTA 5, and then Batman dropped. So, and GTA 5 is a long game. So it wound up leaking into that. So that sat in the plastic for a while until I finished GTA 5. Now GTA 5 has an online component that I ain't really fully I ain't get into. Right. I played a little bit. I raced, built my character. I got a whip, and then I'm trying to get a house. I think that's the next thing. Actually, somebody sent me on a mission to kill somebody, I think. So I'm trying to get into that, which I'm excited for. And I'm hearing they're going to have the bank robbery joint. I'm trying to join a crew so we can hit these banks up. Mm-hmm. But the Batman dropped. So let me get into this Batman. Then I'm going to just come back to all of these multiplayer parts of it. And may even play the single player over again as well. So, but I was on... So that leaked into that. So now I'm playing Batman. I finally finished Batman. Okay. And I'm convinced that WB Montreal does not want me to have this particular bat suit that I'm looking for. They don't want me to have it. This is in there. You can get it. It's unlockable. It's unlockable. And when I say unlockable, I use that in the loosest of terms. With the biggest of quotes around it. It's there, and the suit looks phenomenal. It's basically the bat suit from Injustice Gods Among Us. Yeah. That version of it. Look sick. And it's the closest to the movie suits as well. That's what really draws me. I always look for the suit that's the closest to the movie joint.
You talking about the newest movie?
Any of them, because basically he from Batman Begins to and I'm talking about the Christian Bale.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Christian Bale ones.
Now the Michael Keaton.
The Michael Keatons too. I want those too. Actually, if I had it my way, I would want all everything. The movie suits.
Whole collection in your Batcave.
Whole collection, right? Oh, and that's what I want to tell you about Batman. Batman, I love the way they integrated this Batman because you have the Batcave. Mm-hmm. You can basically go back to the Batcave whenever you want. And in this Batcave is what should be in a Batcave. You see actually a broken down Batmobile look like it's being built, or there's parts all over the floor. Mm-hmm. But you see like the prototype of a Batmobile in the spot. Then you got the Batwing. Then you have the training area when he can go and practice his stealth and his combat moves. And then, of course, you have the bat chamber for the bat suit. So it's so integrated. So now, literally, if you have 5 or 6 bat suits, you can toggle through each bat suit and take it out and use it. And I feel like that alone brings epicness to it because you feel like you're changing. You feel like you're picking your suit. You see the suit come out. Where you know how the iconic look where there's nobody in the suit, it's just the face mask and the thing. It looks sick. So I'm trying to get this Injustice suit, and they have another suit that I like. It's basically a reskin of the default suit, but it's all black. Okay. But I really want the Injustice suit. That's the joint I really, really want.
You know what? I didn't even. You played Injustice?
Did I play Injustice? I played a little bit of Injustice.
Okay, because I barely even seen that game. So,
I think it had a little cult following, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think people still playing it to this day.
It's on. They just got released on Steam.
I think they still support it.
Yeah, it just got
and all that.
Yeah, it just got released on Steam.
Yeah. I think it's a big community. I mean, you can't really go wrong if you love superhero comic book characters, but in a Mortal Kombat style, right? With the Mortal Kombat spirit, but just with DC characters, that's pretty much
All you need right
what
there.
you're
Right?
getting. So I could see how it's hard to mess that up. It looked like, and they added some stuff to it that was kind of cool. I just never really made me say this. I have to have it. But I do remember the bat suit. I was like, because I didn't know what the Injustice. I'm not a deep comic book lore kind of guy when it comes to Batman or really any of them. But I thought that was a suit maybe in his comic book background.
Yeah.
And come to find out, they took it from your boy. What's the dude name? That created Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Ed Boon.
Ed Boon. They took the suit, and I was looking at the suit, and I was looking at the movie suit, and it has a lot of similarities to it. But of course, they made their little own, tweaks and stuff to it. So anyway, I'm trying to get this suit, but of course, WB Montreal decides they want to make it nearly impossible or very, very long for you to get the suit.
It's a grind.
You have to basically you have to get 288 medals in the challenge maps. And you have to do all these joints. You have to beat people up without getting hit. You got to use all the various, and a matter of fact,
You know what that
I
reminds
might
me of?
write an article about it. Okay.
No, I was gonna say that reminds me of the old Devil May Cry's, like Devil May Cry 4 and stuff like that, and the old ones, where they have like nightmare mode, and then they have devil mode, and they have devil nightmare mode. Like it's crazy. Like you got so much different things just to unlock things in the game. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it sounds really, really like
It's
a grind.
tedious.
Yeah.
It's definitely tedious. And this is the other thing, the other kicker. You don't know exactly what they want from you
Mhm.
to get this medal. Like some of them are straightforward. Just execute this type of move or whatever. Make sure you don't get hit by this guy, But then there's other ones where it just throws you in the arena and you don't know how you're supposed to get these medals. I have to really look it up.
Okay.
But on top of all of that, I'm probably messed up royally because I played on easy, and to unlock New Game Plus, you got to play on normal or higher. And I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to use this bat suit in the story because that's what I really want. I think it might wind up being I had to play it all over again, do everything all over again, or only play with the suit in maps or just running around the city. I can't really use it in story. And that joint just killed me. I was like, really? I put in all. Oh, mind you, I'm trying to get the other suit too. I started with the other suit until I realized it was an Injustice suit, which is the all black default suit. To do that, you got to do all these challenges within the story. And they got like 15 things you have to do. It's 4 different categories and 15 joints in each one.
Yeah.
So, and you got to do it in order.
Wow.
You got to do it exactly in order. You could do 5 things that come later, but if you ain't do it in that order, it don't count. And what I'm hearing is if you end the story, you can't. It's almost impossible to do because the enemies are more at a minimum, and certain elements like when you go on I'm forgetting all the terms. When you get on the gargoyles and you trying to take out enemies from the top, those opportunities are not really there. So you pretty much have to play the game again. And like I said, I'm probably in a position where I don't even know if I can play the game again because I put it on easy, not knowing that you can't go through them, that you couldn't advance on easy. But in any case,
it's a shame you take the easy way
out. So basically, I don't know if I'm gonna get these suits, man. I set myself. I'm gonna look up online what do they want from me? Because I think right now that's issue. What do you
What
want
do they
from me?
really want from me?
Then I'll try to execute it to the best of my ability.
Uh,
I'm gonna be tight if I do all this work and it's only to play around and shoot through the city. I'll be tight.
yeah,
So I'm hoping that's not the case.
yeah.
And it was a little controversy of even using the suit in the main story. Like, is this suit available for the main story, or is this only multiplayer, or is this only for challenge maps? And that was another issue. So there's a couple of things I gotta sift through, but
Yeah.
I'm on that. And the GTA, I spent more time on it too before I went to Batman because I was trying to get these cars.
Mhm.
I wanted to put like all these luxury cars in my garages, and I was going around the map trying to get them.
But
I got
a question on that. Like those cars that you collect, then you know how GTA, if you crash it and that's it, like it blows up.
Yeah.
You know that's how that works. Does it still work like that? Or if you crash it, you magically get another one if you own it.
This is what they did, which is genius. And not only does you can get your car back,
Mm-hmm.
but they did it in a way where it made sense for that world.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just magically appear. Well, actually, it's funny. You get a default car, and
Right.
that default car follows you wherever. Like you could blow it up, lose it, anything, and it'll be at your spot somehow, magically.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get a car, first of all, even the garage thing is huge because I'm trying to now think. In the past, you might have had a one-car garage, or you might have had a situation where, I think like if you park your thing in a certain spot, like where you're supposed to park it, like in real life, you know how if you have a house, they have this area where you can park safely and not get your joint towed or whatever the case is. If you
Right.
put it there, it should be there in the morning, right? But it was always like a hit or miss type of thing. And in the case of GTA 4, you had an apartment and you just park your thing on the street. So that really was like a hit or miss in terms of keeping your car. But in GTA 5, you got not only your house as garage, but you get garage space.
Yeah.
So then you could keep all your cars there. Now, if your car blows up, crashes, or you lose it, and that was a big thing. Like when you go on missions, you never could take your car. They probably had to take the dude's car, or he send you to a car or whatever. So you had to leave your car on the street. So you like that, especially if you pay bread for it. You like, I just paid $1 million for this whip.
Yeah.
And as soon as I lose it or something happened to it, I gotta put out another million or don't rock with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in this joint, you can, if it blows up, they tow it.
Okay.
Or if you just leave it in the street, they tow it.
They tow it.
So now you go to the tow spot,
And you gotta pay. You gotta pay for the repairs.
You gotta pay to get your whip out.
Okay, that's genius.
But the trick is though, they only keep 2 cars, your last 2 cars.
Oh.
So you gotta be careful. You gotta monitor. You gotta make sure you go back and get it immediately. Because if you wind up just picking up cars off the street and leaving them, they just gonna tow them. And by the time you get back to the car that you really wanted, you might be on your 5th or 6th car that got towed, and you won't be able to get those joints back. There's many a time I got caught like that. Like I had these beautiful, sexy cars, man. I went back to get it and had some generic car that I picked up the street, running from the cops or whatever. So I was just like, but bottom line, that's what it was too. Like, yo, I'm gonna collect all these cars, but can I go out with them?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the only time I can really go out is if I do like regular things, like go to the amusement park or go to the movies or whatever. I could bring my whip out, but I was scared to bring them out on missions. But now I feel a little more confident because you can get it after like I say, you can go to the tow spot.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got so far on my joint, I've been trying to get like luxury cars and famous iconic cars that was in TV or whatever, right? Movies or whatever.
Yeah. So you got that Bugatti?
Or I had to get the Bugatti.
Okay.
Got the Bugatti, I
That's all
actually
I'm
got
talking about.
I actually got I got two Bugattis. I got one I got one chromed out because you got 3 characters, which means technically you probably could have like 10 or 12, even probably 15 cars at your disposal, depending on the character. But I think each character probably go like 5 or 6 cars or whatever. But in any case, I got 2 Bugattis. I got one chromed out, and that's another fun part of the game. Customization,
Uh-huh.
pretty good. I ain't saying this on Forza or GT,
Well, I heard.
but it's
I heard.
pretty good. You can fix your wheels, chrome it out, colors, matte, metallic. You could change your roof. You could change it. There's multiple colors you can change. You can change your license plate. You can you can have like colored smoke coming out your exhaust engine.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you want blue smoke coming out your joint, or black smoke, or orange smoke, or red smoke, you could do that. You can.
How about GTA Online? Can you take it on GTA Online?
Can you customize?
No, I'm saying can you take your cars?
Oh
on
yeah, that's another thing. I was wondering if you could take the cars that you got in single player, or I don't think you can because I think they strip you down, and you just like a new kid in the city. I'm not sure if you can get your whips. I think they're trying to have this like build up, point system. Like the higher you get in the online, the more cars is available to you, or the more money you get, you can buy cars. So I'm not sure. I have to explore that, but that would be beautiful if I could just go home. Because technically, I am playing with a new character.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, the character customization is deeper than I would thought. Like, it's so deep. They want to know, like, they want you to make how your grandmother and your grandfather look, then your mother and your father, and then that's how you look. And then you could choose whether you look more like your moms or your pops.
Oh,
It's
wow.
crazy.
That's innovative, I guess.
It's crazy. So I was like, so in any case, I was like, yo. So back
That's
to the
crazy.
whip thing, I was like, wow, y'all going this deep with it. But it's so stupid, right? I could choose my grandmother, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't choose. They don't have a regular haircut, like the obvious joints, simple joints you would think would be in there. It's like, why can't I? And it's hard to make yourself, like, you have to really make the perfect family to make you look like you anywhere near you or whatever, because the right combination puts out the right different combination. So if you got a dude that's light skin and your mom's is dark skin, you come out like in the middle or whatever. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost, and then you could choose: do you party a lot? Do you party a lot? Do you do a lot of illegal stuff? Do you work 9 to 5? How much time you sleep? All this stuff, and based
That's
on
crazy.
that, your character forms. Like, you might have on club clothes if you like to party a lot, or if you're a street dude, you might get a bandana or whatever, a hoodie or whatever. Or if you're a 9 to 5 dude, they give you like a uniform.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
crazy.
So, in any case, so with the Bugattis, I got a chromed out Bugatti,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a Bugatti I call Superman.
Okay.
And because Bugattis is the fastest car in the world.
Yeah. Faster than a speeding bullet.
So I call it the Superman, but it's not just the Superman in name only. I customized it for Superman's colors.
Okay.
Yeah, so my joint look crazy, and it's just sitting in the garage pretty.
Right.
I got the Benz SL.
Whew.
I got the Ferrari.
Wow.
I got the Phantom.
Okay.
Rolls Royce Phantom. Beautiful white, pearl white. Oh, the joint's sexy. What else I got in here? Oh, I got the Dukes of Hazzard car.
Hey.
What else I got in there?
That boy got a Dukes.
I got the Dukes of Hazzard car. That car is sick. Actually, it's one of my favorite cars.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, this joint looks sick. Actually, when I was driving, when I drive and I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's the Dukes of Hazzard car."
Yeah,
I pulled
got
over,
that.
and I don't even think it was in the all. I had to like fix it up because it's so funny. The GTA, they have the customizations to make the car. Like they almost know what they was doing. Like, yeah, this looks like the Dukes of Hazzard car, so we're gonna give you the Dukes of Hazzard customization, right? So
Yeah.
they even got it down to the horn. The dun, 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 dun. You could do it. Oh yeah, you could pick your own horn sound, and they got all these horns, and that's one of the horns, the Dukes of Hazzard horn. So I pulled over, I took that car, and then I drove it to customization immediately, fixed it up, took it back to the spot. But I
Who'd,
lost a ton of cars too.
who'd you have to smack for that car?
Some dude. Oh, that's another cool thing too. Depending on who you take, they bucking back, son. So,
Oh,
some
okay.
don't just let you take their car.
Yeah.
Or what I love too is like you could stand in the middle of the street and point your gun at a car, and then they'll either get out in fear, they'll be like, oh my gosh, and they'll run, or they'll run you over.
Oh,
So you pull
that's
a
a
gun
smart.
out and they hit the gas and they just like, and they hit you. They keep it moving. So I love the different reactions you get. Everybody don't react the same, and
Yeah.
it's always different. But yeah,
They should have somebody in the passenger seat. Like, hit him again, hit him again. They just go in reverse and run you over again.
it's crazy. But yeah, I was having a blast with that game. That game is phenomenal. It gets better and better and better, and everything made sense. Actually, this is one of the first games that I remember. I told you I was going to do like a little segment where I play. If I feel like a game is going in a certain direction and it doesn't,
Right.
I will write about it. Like I'll be like, well, like Uncharted 3, I think, for instance, when we was talking about the mummies, or what the deception part was going to be. Who's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
deceive or whoever, right? So you're building that whole story up in your head where it's going to go. And if it don't go that way or whatever, I just write about it, right? GTA, I had this whole thing in my head, like, yo, they got to answer this. This has to happen, and this has to happen. And it started happening, and it all was intertwined. And I was like, yo, this is some genius writing right here.
Yeah.
It's a great game. You get to play dress up. You get to be security. You get to be a fireman. You get to be janitor.
A bum?
You're bum, but they got a lot of joints where you just going in and you disguise it, and they have like blueprints of like you doing these bank heists. They got the blueprint of how you gonna hit the bank. So you can hit the bank loud, come in guns blazing, or you can hit the bank stealthy. And then you can pick which way you want to do it, and then you get to pick your team. So
Right.
you could pick who. Let's say you like, oh shoot, I need a gunman, right? They got these options of gunmen, some crazy marksman dudes, but you gotta pay them. Or you could choose to go cheap. You don't want to hit him with a big percentage, but he can't really shoot. He might get killed in an array and may not be able to help you. Or you get to pick your getaway driver or the computer hacker. And if you pick the weak version of these guys, it could affect how the bank is being hit. So he may take longer to hack the computer for you to get in, thus meaning the cops could run up on you and lock y'all up or shoot you or whatever they do, based on the fact that he took too long to crack the code. So
Okay.
it's a give and take. Like, yo, do I want to pay these dudes and get the best quality, or do I short out these dudes on a percentage and wind up blowing the whole heist because I don't have the best people?
Yeah.
So it's so crazy in this game. But yeah, so I've been toggling through those three games: Splinter Cell, GTA 5, and Black Man.
Black man.
So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Okay.
I can't wait to get back to it. I'm supposed to be playing some Madden 25.
Oh, RIP.
But anyways, next gen is here.
Yeah, it is. Hey.
However that go. PS4, Xbox is Tuesday, I believe.
Yep. Definitely.
And I want to say, I'm nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nice. Okay, I'm half nice.
Okay.
A couple podcasts ago, we was
Right.
talking.
What we talking about? What we
consoles
talking
and prices and yada yaddies and yada yadas.
Oh,
Yo, I think these consoles is gonna be $400.
400. No, I said that.
I said that. Go back and check the tape. So I was half right. You know, Xbox, of course, they wanted to be the different ones. They wanted to be difficult, so they made it 500. But I figured that we was gonna get some $400 consoles.
Right.
So whatever. So, but yeah, it's here. I'm supposed to be sitting pretty with mine PS4 right now, but I did the biggest blunder of console history, and I allowed my joint to sit in GameStop for a couple days, and they gave my PS4 to somebody.
Wow.
So now they gonna lie to me and tell me get some consoles today or tomorrow. Come on,
That what they said?
Come on. Did you stop with the PR? You didn't want me to burn down the building, so you said, "Oh,
a new shipment coming in."
New shipment.
You know what I'm saying? Straight from Tokyo. Yeah.
Pure geniuses. Oh man, whoever trained them, that was pretty good. We're gonna get a shipment this week. Don't worry about it. Check back.
We got you covered.
So now this check back with us gonna take all year. Hey, just check back. Some. Just keep checking back.
Especially during holiday time.
Oh my gosh. And then they didn't even tell me. I gotta find out if they even. What does that mean? Am I special? Like when the first shipment comes, you gonna put one aside for me? Mm-hmm. Like what does that mean? Okay, you get a new shipment, and then I come later in the day and get it.
Yeah.
You sold it all. What does that mean to me? Like I need some type of promise. Like when we get the new shipment, we're gonna put one aside for you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hit you up. But in any case, so I don't really know what's going on. I ain't in the next gen fray.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. You know, I gotta wait till Tuesday or Wednesday. Then I'll join you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so any thoughts about the next gen is here? You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited, but I feel like right now is not where it's going to be. Like right now it's very launchy. You know what I'm saying? Like
very launchy.
You know what I'm saying? Like how it always is when a new console launches, where the games are pretty weak, and it takes a couple of months, maybe even a year, for you to see, like really see that, man, this is a new generation, dog. This is it. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been asking for when we said we want to change, and not the same thing from the last generation. So as of right now, I've tried 2 quote unquote next gen games on my PC, but they still pretty much the same game, which is the matter of fact it was 3, I guess. The Battlefield 4, which is 64 players.
Oh,
you got the
shoot, my bad. I just
what you say?
I just seen Chris Paul get kicked in his face. Unbelievable.
Oh man,
yo, like
how'd that happen?
Like it looked like he was running to the basket. I don't know how money leg got in the air.
He got drop kick.
Yo, his leg straight kicked his whole leg hit his face. Like
wow.
it's like he got clotheslined by his leg. That's how
he got bodied. I got to see that on the replays.
Yo, that looked crazy. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I played Battlefield 4. I played Need for Speed Rivals, and I played a little. I barely even touched Assassin's Creed 4, but I at least got to see how it looked. And yeah, it looks good. and it's improvement, but it's minor improvements. I'm talking about graphically.
Yeah.
Like as far as what you could do in the game and stuff like that, I would have to dig my hands a little bit more into it to really, see. But from what I'm seeing so far, it's not that much different.
So you haven't seen any gameplay elements that's like, ooh, that was never in an Assassin's Creed game before.
Yeah, because I mean, their main thing on Assassin's Creed, for instance, is the ships, but the ships was in 3. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't on the scale of how it is now in 4, because this is a full blown game like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's not like it's never been done. You know what I'm saying? Just being expanded upon, and that's what I'm starting to see with a lot of games now. It's just expansions on what they built, which is not a bad thing. It's just not the leaps I'm looking for when you want to call it the next gen game. So apparently, I actually read an article recently saying that the next Assassin's Creed will be much more next gen, apparently. So they're already talking about Assassin's Creed 5 and how, graphically it can be better, you know what I'm saying? I think I'm actually reading it right now, said one of the developers said we thought about next generation graphics, and in order to explore that, we used to use the high-end PCs on the side, and then continue just what we started with the previous games and built upon it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like I say, a lot of things they like to keep their foundation, which I'm not against, because a lot of people cry when they move too far away from it.
You think they're gonna keep up with the yearly releases?
I think they're gonna keep up with it.
Wow.
Which is not. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not something I like.
You're saying people don't want to stray too far from what's there.
Yeah. What the basis of the franchise is. You know what I'm saying? People will start complaining and saying that, this is not Assassin's Creed no more, or this not Battlefield no more, or whatever the game is. You know what I'm saying? Or Batman Arkham. Some people was complaining about Arkham Origins. How it's too much like the other games, but at the end of the day, if they strayed away from it and made an entirely different game, then people will still complain on that. You know what I'm saying? So I think you still got to have a sense of foundation.
Yeah.
And do some leaps.
By the way, in WB Montreal's situation, if not just isolated for them only specifically, I think they did the best thing by keeping with what was there, the foundation, and building on it. Because I remember I was going past on Batman Arkham Origins when it first got announced, because it sounded like they really was going somewhere left with it.
Yeah,
like it was not even going to be. You wouldn't even recognize the game. That's how it sounded.
Yeah.
Then I guess at some point it's like, you know what? Let's scratch that. Let's borrow the engine. Let's do exactly the same formula, but just let's put our story to it. And I think for them that was the best thing that could have been done, because I don't think it would have been accepted any other way. However, I do believe Batman going forward shouldn't keep doing the same formula. I think they should really consider making it dynamic, more dynamic than it is.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But yeah, that's how I feel on the whole situation with the next gen games and stuff like that. So
so our topic this week is top 5 favorite games this gen. I figured we tackle this topic because the last gen
it's coming to a close,
or has come to a close. I mean, really, technically, it's still going because
it's leeching, man. It's leeching.
It's gonna get supported, but really, their brain is moving to the next gen. This generation, in terms of, you're probably not gonna get another blockbuster game that's not gonna be on PS4 or Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but one thing I don't like is that though the simple fact that the next gen exists right now is kind of holding the PS4, and I mean not the next gen, the current gen. It's holding the PS4 and the Xbox 360 back because developers are still developing games based off of those systems and then adding like minor features for the next gen versions of it. You know what I'm saying?
But
So
that's what, like you said though, is it's launchy. That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
they
yeah,
do. Every generation that they
yeah,
start off by making it for both, and then they slowly move away from it and just exclusively make it for
yeah, yeah,
next gen.
yeah.
Even Madden to keep it going for a while, and then at some point they just
Break off. But when they broke off, did you
they
see
didn't
huge
break off. When they
improvements?
broke off, they didn't break off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Nah, there was some. They had their moments. Like the physics thing was huge. There's certain things in there that was cool, but I think that basically that whole generation got wasted for football. I
Yeah,
don't feel like I really truly got a next generation game.
yeah,
But there was some things in there that made me feel like I could never go back to a PS2 game. I know that.
yeah.
PS2 version, whatever.
But you get hit stick 2.0?
Yeah. 2.10. Um
Uh,
so yeah, you was gonna say something following up with that whole thing?
oh yeah, so I'm just saying like they just whenever they decide to say, we're done or cuz there's some games that's not even being developed for all these platforms at once.
Mhm.
And some companies already announced and said that like
Live.
yeah. The CEO of Ubisoft, he already said that we're going to give the current generation, I think this holiday season and the next one. But
Mhm.
after that, there's not going to be any more current gen based games. So you will see technology being used. You know what I'm saying? You won't see the same small little graphical tricks that they used last generation that makes the game look bad and old. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
want a new taste, a new flavor at the end of the day. And, I know it's coming. Just going to, I think 2015 is going to be that year, personally.
Yeah, so funny, real quick. I had wrote an article about being concerned that Naughty Dog is not upgrading their engine
Hmm.
from scratch. They're basically using the same engine from the PS3.
Hmm.
So I didn't know, I'm no tech genius or whatever, but that threw me off a little bit. I was a little concerned because I know there's a lot of developers that starting their engine from scratch, or I remember Naughty Dog themselves saying that they made a mistake in the PS3 generation that they didn't want to do again, which was they basically built two engines from scratch
Hmm.
twice in one generation. It was like that joint was crazy. It was tedious. It really took a lot out of them, and it was like they don't never want to do that again. They really want to. I think they set themselves up for the future to do only one engine um building from one time a generation. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so I
That's
was
how it
thinking
should be.
that's how it should be, right? I'm like, cool, beautiful. So what you think I'm thinking? PS4, new new hardware, new engine, right? And it's Naughty Dog, so they're going to do it. It's guaranteed. I'm not thinking about it.
Hmm.
Then they come out and make the announcement that, yo, we're not gonna start from scratch. We're gonna build off this engine. Now, I wrote an article saying I was a little concerned. Now, a lot of people telling me I shouldn't be. One is Naughty Dog. They
Right,
do what they do. Um, they never let us down yet. So I like
right.
cool. I can rock with that theory. The other thing that was saying is that engines don't work like that. Like you can build the tools around your engine to make it um, next gen worthy without starting from scratch. As a matter of fact, it says sometimes you're wasting your time starting from scratch. You're not really going to gain much
Hmm.
from starting from scratch. But I'm bringing all of this up because um, Uncharted was one of the few games that I felt was truly a next generation game, right?
Right, right.
And what I see the common denominator in that was that everybody else was using the same engines from the PS2 era.
Hmm.
Everybody had their little PS2 engine. They didn't start from scratch. They just took what they got from the
Yeah,
PS2, put it on the PS3, and a little graphical upgrade, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it showed. But here come Naughty Dog, who doesn't have any prior because it's a new IP. They don't have any prior engine to build that game for. So they had to build a game from scratch,
Right.
build an engine from scratch. And it showed. It was like, oh, shoot, I'm really seeing next generation things in this game.
Yeah. Eyes
And
were melting at that point.
Right. And what I was sharing with the people in the comments that was saying, don't worry, I was saying, listen, even if they pull off a phenomenal looking game with Uncharted 4, there's no way you could tell me that new on new is not better than old on new. Like that new on new always beats old on new. If I have a new engine meeting a new system, it's going to be optimized at its highest point because
and you can
I
do a
built
lot
it
more
specifically for that engine, and that engine is giving me so much power, and I'm building my engine specifically for that engine. Now, if I take an old engine and I try to, I said it. You know what I said? I said basically what it sounds like y'all telling me is it's fine because they have an upscaler. Yeah, it's going to be in 720p, but it could be upscaled to 1080p. I was like, no. I don't want to upscale to 1080p. That's cool, but you can't tell me that 720p being upscaled to 1080p is better than native 1080p on 1080p.
Yeah.
Like, so that was my whole point with that whole engine thing. And
That's
I was
a big
like,
difference. I seen it with my own eyes, man.
Right, and this is just me, and like I said again, I'm no tech expert, but just me doing the knowledge and just even coming down to common sense.
Okay.
You figure new on new is always gonna beat old on new, right? So that was my whole thing with that, and why did I even share that? Because let me see, talking about just the new. You talking about the new games coming out? Oh yeah, the whole launchy thing. I think just how you don't really see the difference in games. And I think the first person that benefits from that you will see it from is the person that doesn't have any no history to go with.
Yeah,
that's why.
You know what? You need to be looking out for the games that's only for Xbox One or only for PlayStation 4.
Right.
Those are going to be the hits, the classics. No Xbox 360 tie-in, no Wii U funny business.
No. Listen, people standing on that Wii U is a next-gen console. So
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, you just offended a lot of people right there. Ed, does that mean for this whole generation they're going to have to make Wii U games?
Yeah. They're going to have to make games with Wii U in mind, right?
Wow.
So
you telling me we're going to get a 2 gig game regardless?
Yeah, so we hold on to the last generation pretty much.
Wow. So we're going to basically waste this whole generation too.
No, that's not that's not the case though, because there are a lot of games coming out that's, like I said, only for the Xbox One. Like Rise, that's a next gen game. You see it. It's apparent. Talking about graphically, it's apparent that that's a next gen game, and that's a step forward. That should be actually no biasness anywhere. No, because Microsoft, nothing like that. Actually, that's one of the few games like that. Rise, what's that game? NBA 2K14, next gen. That one, and you could argue Killzone, but I would say that Killzone is not as good as people would make it seem, because I've seen Killzone and then I've seen Battlefield 3. I'm talking about 3, not 4, not the newest one, but 3 on PC, and they looked almost the same. So, especially with the facial animations that they had on what's the name, on Killzone, I hated it. Like the lip sync, oh my god, like that black dude. For anybody that's out there.
Oh, what? Wait. This Battlefield you talking about?
No, now I'm talking about Killzone.
Killzone. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the dudes talking to each other?
yeah. It looks bad and stuff like that. Even when they had the infamous trailer, right?
Yeah.
And one of the main parts of the trailer is when he was laying on the ground and he said something. I don't know what he said, but he said something. And you seen his lips moving. He's like, this don't quite look right. You at? I mean, the graphics look good.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there. You know what I'm saying? So
that's gonna be huge for next.
But like I say, going back to just being 100% real, just looking at Rise, like looking at the way they talk and the emotion that they bring when they're talking. Matter of fact, let's take a step back. Beyond Two Souls does some of that. You know what I'm saying? With the whole lip sync and how good they do the emotions, like the
Mm-hmm.
body language and
Mm-hmm.
gestures.
Mm-hmm.
So you could clearly see that, I'm not coming from a biased standpoint. I just tell it like it is. And I'm telling you that a game from last generation, which is Beyond Two Souls, did it right. And I could name some others, but that's not the point. As far as Rise,
L.A.
it's
Noir.
doing that. Yeah. LA,
Mm-hmm.
definitely LA Noir. So Rise is doing that now too. But at a really good, because not only because with those games, yes, they did the facial animations, the gestures, body language, good. But as far as the graphics, it didn't look as good as a next gen game can look. But Rise is bringing that. I'm talking about the graphics of the clothes and the armor and everything, all the little objects in the environment and stuff like that. All that's coming together on top of that good, believable, voice acting and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, yes, I do think that that's a true next gen game. And like I said, the 2Ks, stuff like that. And there are some games that haven't even been announced yet because they're not quite ready. Because there were probably studios that were working on like Santa Monica. I just read right now on N4G. They're working on a title that they ain't even announced yet. Aside from 1886, right? Isn't Santa Monica
Yeah.
doing 1886?
No, well, they're not doing it. The
Yeah.
Ready at Dawn is doing 1886, which is the guys who did all the God of War handhelds. So
Okay.
that connection is there, but not the studio.
Okay. That's kind of like Bethesda having another company doing the game. So, all right.
It's funny you brought up 1886 too, because is it even 1886?
Yeah, I think it's the order
Yeah.
1886.
Yeah. So I was gonna say that I think they're one of the games that stood out to me graphically.
Oh, they did. It is.
And I think this because they have an engine
Yeah.
that's built for the PS4. Like they have no other prior reference. They prior references was handhelds,
Right.
so they had to build an engine to keep with the new system.
Yeah.
So they probably have one of the biggest chances to shine the most
Right.
in this generation based on their engine that is clean and is pure and is new.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So, at the end of the day, like with the order, for instance, I mean, the order, when I saw the cutscene, and I should have known better than this anyway, but when I seen the trailer or whatever, it looked like a pre-rendered movie and stuff like that. And I should know better. When I say I should know better, I mean is that most studios nowadays, the norm is to have in-game, in-game footage.
Mhm.
So, but I still just naturally thought that was a cutscene. May have been using the in-game footage, but I didn't know that entire section was in-game. Like at any given time, you could just took the controller and took control, and it would look the same. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't really cross my mind. So when I heard that, I was like, my whole thought of the game went from like, okay, yeah, that's cool, to like, wow. I can't wait for this game to come out. You know what I'm saying? So, because a lot of times, sometimes I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm a graphics whore because I'm not.
You go ahead.
Because at the end of the day, I can still go back and play some. I'm talking about some old games. Some old games still have a blast. Dragon Age Origins still have a blast. I can play the old Fallout games. You know what I'm saying? I can play Super Mario Brothers. Anything. It don't matter. It don't matter as long as I'm having fun, I don't care. But I do like to just put on something on the screen, on the TV, and just look at something pretty. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if I got a nice racing game that looks crazy graphically, and you know how like in some racing games, like let's say Gran Turismo, you can like look at replays and stuff like that of your match that you just raced.
Yeah.
And you can look at nice camera angles and just look at the graphics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's my point. I like games that look good graphically. So I like to have it in my collection. So whenever I play it, or I could always go back to it, I could just be like, wow, these graphics just look so good. Like so good. You know what I'm saying? There's no place in the world that you can see the stuff that you can see in this game and it still looks so good. You know what I'm saying? So Like let's say it's a game based in a whole different planet, right? And it has all these different like crazy things in it. But you can't see that by walking outside. So at the end of the day, it's just something that you appreciate because it looks so good graphically. You know what I'm saying? But you still can't see it in nowhere else. That's the point I'm trying to make. So I like to have that in my collection. So like I say, with 1886, that's just a whole nother game that could be like that. You know what I'm saying? And what else? What else is coming out? Um, The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3, that game is going to be phenomenal because I think I heard the developers say that what they showed so far is like pre-alpha. They not even done with the engine yet. Still got to make some tweaks. Party didn't put in the best textures that they could, all that stuff. So when that comes out, that's only for Xbox. I think only at Xbox One and PC and the PS4. So only next gen, right? That's gonna be crazy. Then you got what's the other game that's coming out? It's another next gen game that's coming out supposedly next year. That's only next gen. But yeah, I mean it's just like I say, I'm just rambling right now. But at the end of the day, there's just a bunch of next gen titles that look good. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, to get, back on the topic, we just going to hit on our favorite games of last gen now, I guess you could call it now officially. No more current gen. Last gen, just do a royal sweep of all the games that came out and pick our top 5. And I'm be honest with you, man. It wasn't a tough cut for me. I had to really consider, and I'm still not there. So we'll see what happens as I talk. But I mean, I have to stretch it out a little bit. But yeah, we want to narrow down our favorite games this gen,
Right.
and this is what we're gonna do. So
Okay.
I'll let you kick it off.
All right. So you want me to kick it off?
Kick it off.
Do you think that's what the people want to hear right now?
Do that.
All right. Let me get my notes gathered up because this was a tough one too myself. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk about nail biters.
Nail biters.
I mean, it was crazy. It was the battle of the ages, man. Because all these games, it's just. Nah, I'm just messing. Nah, my thing was decisive and fairly easy because I know at the end of the day, these are the games that really defined the next gen of last generation. So when these games came out,
what you just said?
Yeah, right.
This game defined the this
next
generation, last generation.
Yeah,
What you said?
But hey, back when these games were next gen games, basically, right?
Oh, okay.
You know
You're
what I'm
talking
saying?
about when PS2 and
Yeah. When we were coming off PS2 and Xbox.
Xbox. All right, cool.
Yeah. And then we was coming in this new generation.
All right, cool. So go ahead, kick it.
All right, so I guess I gotta do these in order they came out.
Oh, you know what? Do your joint. Do your joint from. I don't know if you did this, or maybe you could do it on the spot.
Uh-huh.
But take the 5 you have, right?
Right.
And try to make it really a top 5, meaning your 5th favorite game, your 4th favorite game, your 3rd favorite game, your 2nd favorite game, your 1st favorite game.
You ain't doing that to me right now.
Because we want to have the island effect. We want to feel like, yo, all right, cool. These are all your favorite games, but which one really was your top favorite game out of all? Like, what was the best of the best?
Okay.
So try to put your joint in order and go from 5.
It pains me to do this. No, it does pain. It's disrespectful. That's what you asked me, to disrespect some of these companies and they hard work. But I'm gonna do it. Man. Somebody got to be the bad guy. At the end of the day, somebody got to be the bad guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the number 5. And the number 5. All right. I make a disclaimer right now, right? The disclaimer is that if a series was throughout the generation, right? Then I will use the series. It's not a particular game because basically it's the same thing. It's the same game, but it's just a continued story. So it's all one game. It's just 1, 2, and 3. So my fifth one is going to be God of War. I mean, I'm sorry, not. Hey, excuse me, not God of War, Gears of War, All right. And I'm going to tell you right now, when that game came out, not only was it a graphical juggernaut at the time.
Wait, hold on. Before you continue,
What?
right? I know where you're going with your whole my series all this crap, right?
No.
I'm gonna give you a pass because I know that particular one. If I'm right, you have to take it as a trilogy.
Yeah.
But the games that had their own identities, try to pull the best one that you liked out of that series.
All right, I'll do something better.
What you gonna do?
I'm gonna say the series, but I'm gonna tell you my favorite game out of that series, and that could be the one, right? You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
All right. So
you want Gears of War?
Graphical juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? The first true next gen game. I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? At the time, that was the first true next gen game because the PlayStation didn't even get their act together. Matter of fact, I think they came out a year after the 360. And
did that come out before?
I think it might have came out before the PlayStation 3 came out. I think, and if not,
yeah, I think it did.
The PlayStation 3 didn't have that nothing. They didn't have that much, like no games. You know what I'm saying? So it's either or. But at the end of the day, that was like the true first next gen game. So it brought the cover system. Cover system was beautiful. Going from cover to cover.
That cover system was a monster.
I mean, you are blind shotting. You are blind firing just into battle, spraying and praying.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying. Running, you roadie running. That was another thing. You got this thing called roadie run. So you get down real low, and you know, it's almost like you trying to take cover while you're running. So you crouching while you're running, all at the same time into cover. You know what I'm saying? The gore that they had in that game, it wasn't crazy, but it was still gore. So if you go up to somebody with a shotgun, I don't care if it's human or alien, you go up to them with a shotgun, point blank range, and you stick it in their chest, their body will explode into 1,000 pieces. You see their rib cage, you see everything. It's crazy. I mean, just the things that they brought to the table, which is new to the scene. You never really seen it in any other game, not like that. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it. And for that series, I would say the best one and the most iconic one. Oh, that's a tough one going through my head right now. All right, let me break it down really quick in a really quick fashion. Let me run through what I'm thinking about. Part number 1 was probably the best for the story. Part 2 was probably the best for the multiplayer. Part 3 was the best for graphics. So, having that said, I would have to stick with the story and what made the series what it is with number 1. So number 1 is probably my favorite and my 5th favorite game of last generation. Yeah.
All right, we start. That's a good one.
All right. So we moving on to number 4. Number 4, you hurt me again.
Yeah. But don't hurt me again.
But what I will say is this is a franchise that I didn't really pay much attention to. I never even knew nothing about it until a year after the 3rd game of the series, right? And this is not a series one. Remember I said that, some of these are going to be series? This is not a series one. This is a particular game. That is the beast that is Battlefield 3.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Now, I played Call of Duty. I played Call of Duty 4, and I loved that one. Modern Warfare. It probably would have been on this list had it not been for Battlefield 3. But I played, the Modern Warfare 2, the Black Ops, I played
I'm sure Call of Duty would make anybody's top 5, but go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, right? Now, there's a lot of Call of Duty heads out there. But I played Battlefield, and it just opened my eyes up. Like, I picture me being in a box my whole life, right? And then all of a sudden I decide just step out the door and whoo, you see the world, you see this, you see that, and that's everything, right? Well, that's what Battlefield 3 was in terms of first person shooters. You know what I'm saying? You were so stuck on, oh, this is the way to play first person shooters, this is what they are, this is the boundaries, this is the rules. So you run down little tight corridors, you run around, you pick up a gun, you shoot, blah 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 blah. You know, you get these little kill streaks and stuff like that. Then when you play Battlefield 3, it's a whole different aspect because you got this huge, gigantic map with all these vehicles. You got jets, you got attack helicopters, you got gunships, you got tanks, you got little jeeps, little dirt bikes, little quad bikes you can hop on. Somebody can hop on the back with a gun and gun some people down. 6 people hop in the chopper. Let's go. Let's take the next base. 2 people on the gunner on the side of the chopper. 2 people healing, repairing the chopper. They got their little repair tool repairing the chopper. You got 1 person piloting. Pilot might be garbage. You take off the aircraft carrier, you might not make it far. You might go into the you might fall into the sea and be dead on the spot before you even make it to the shore. You know what I'm saying? It got so many. See, if you look at Battlefield 4's marketing, it all started with Battlefield 3 because with Battlefield 4, they got this whole only in Battlefield. And they'll have this person like sit down and they'll just talk and they'll say, oh man, this one time I had this claymore and I put it down and 3 people ran into it and I blew them all up. Or I jumped off this building and I parachuted and I shot somebody. That all was created, in my opinion, in Battlefield 3. So, I'm talking about crazy things that you wouldn't. How about you fly up in the air, right? In a jet. Somebody's behind you trying to shoot you. You eject out of the jet. You turn around with your gun in mid. I'm talking about you 20,000 feet up in the air. You turn around with your gun. You snipe the other jet pilot out of his seat. And then you hop in his jet and take off and fly away. It's crazy. It's crazy. The type of stuff that goes down on that game with the destruction and stuff like that. It's just like little stories that's being told on the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? Little things that happen, like that can only happen in that one instance. It's nothing that you could repeat. You know what I'm saying? It's there and it's gone. You know what I'm saying? So for that, the experiences that it gave me, I love the game. It was awesome. You can't really find nothing like that anywhere else, and that's why Battlefield 3 was number 4 on my list.
Nice.
Okay. Moving
3,
on to
you mean?
number 3.
Battlefield 3.
I'm talking about 3, yeah. Thank you for correcting me because people would have said, well, I thought you said. But
Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
So moving on, mosey on down to 3.
All right, so we at 3, right? Getting on to, and now this really pains me. It's kind of like you telling me to shoot my best friend in the back.
You gonna do it?
Shoot him in the knee and let the zombies get to him.
Wow. Oh, that was cold, by the way. Yo, that was cold.
All right. At the end of the day, I gotta do it for the greater good because I have to pay homage to the next series the next game that's in the list, right? So, and that said, number 3 is Fallout 3. For a long time, last generation, I said that was my favorite game of all time. Nothing else can top it. That was it. With the game is just, if you haven't played Fallout 3, imagine yourself, pretty much, if you watch the Walking Dead show, that's what Fallout 3 is. You're out, they literally call you the lone, I think it's a lone survivor or the lone wanderer. That's what they call you. So you start off with this, and it's like a post-apocalyptic era, right? You start off in this vault, and of course you're in the vault because naturally what people did was they built vaults to go on the ground, so when the nukes from the war had dropped, they'll be all right. And they got this whole society. Everything is nice and pleasant, and everybody's happy, and everything's good. Of course, you got bad things going on behind the scenes, and eventually something happens where you actually have to leave the vault. Now, they actually start the game from when you were a baby. They take you into when you was a toddler, then when you was a teen, and then when you was a pretty much, a person, and they almost, I guess, like 18 years old or whatever, a young adult basically. And then you go out, and your whole, pretty much through this whole beginning part of the game, you learn to play a certain way. And you when you first go out, it's like you're in a cave and you go out and you open this door and you see little, like, before you even open the door, you see little things of sunlight coming in, right? Little sunlight rays. Then you go outside and you just get blinded by the sun because your eyes are not used to it. And that little bit of detail set the bar, for the game. So once you get out there and you start to, wander around, there is no remorse. There is no mercy. It's straight cutthroat in the wasteland. They call it the wasteland because that's what it is. It's a wasteland from nuclear fallout, right? No mercy, no pity, no nothing. It's straight cutthroat. Anything and everything is trying to kill you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? They even kill.
Do I have your
That's,
Fallout 3 or do you have it?
I don't know. I got to see about getting it to you.
'Cause I think you
You get out there, right? It's not only, and this was one of the first games I've ever seen. I think the first game in history that I've seen, because usually when you have because there wasn't even that much open world games out there, but usually in the little few open world games that was out there at the time, basically what happened was you would be running around and everything would try to attack you. So let's say there's a wolf here, right? And there's a bear over there. Well, you feel like you're the center of the universe because everything comes to attack you. You're like, come on, man, that's not realistic. Why the wolf don't fight the bear? Why the giant scorpion don't kill that raider man just like he tried to come kill me? You know what I'm saying? Well, in Fallout, that was one of the first games that you actually seen large scale battles. So you seen that huge, like 2 or 3 huge giant radiated scorpions taking out like a whole camp of raiders. And just like in, like, let's say, let me relate it back to the people that watch Walking Dead or whatever. Just like in Walking Dead, you have like random people out there just trying to survive, and some of them are goons. You know what I'm saying? So they up to no good, and all they know is just crime and stuff like that. You have people like that in the game. So basically, so you go out there, right, and you see, all you do is you just, like, especially if it's at night, all you hear is like gunshots, pop, 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 pop in the distance. And you like, what the heck is really going on over here? Sometimes you make it to there when the battle is going on. Sometimes you make it there in the aftermath and all you see is dead bodies. I mean, it's crazy. And the little stories that they have in the game is ridiculous. Like, they had like one town where you just, like, every new place you go to is just like a new crazy, like, what the heck is going on over here? What's going to happen? So this one town, you go over there and people, they seem all pleasant and everything. They seem cool and stuff. They invite you inside. They invite you to dinner. Everything's all cool and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you being a person that likes to explore, you start snooping around. So you go to the backyard. You go to the shed. What do you find in this deep, dark, dirty shed? Butchered up bodies, intestines hanging, all types of like torture tools inside of the shed. The food that you just ate was human flesh. I know it's terrible. It's terrible to hear, and it's nasty, and you don't even think about that. But yo, these people were cannibals. You lead the shit. You like, oh shoot. This is crazy. You leave the shed, all of a sudden they surrounding you. They like, oh, okay, I know what you've been up to. They try to kill you. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just, and that's just one little small speck on the map. There's like tons and tons of small little, and they a lot of times what they'll do is they won't really have like it won't be a main storyline, um you know what I'm saying, quest or whatever. It won't be something like, a mission that you got to do for the main story. It's just random stuff that just scatter, right? So you'll go to this like one spot, and sometimes you'll find like little journals, and you'll see people like writing down like different things on what happened at that place. And then you start to put pieces to the puzzles, like, okay, dang, these people were here in this town with these giant huge um fire ants, and they pretty much they try to hold the off, like it all start. And I love the way they do the storytelling, because they start you off like, oh yeah, we just moved into this town, everything's all fine, we met this neighbor, blah blah blah. And then the next entry will be like 6 days later. Oh, we heard something last night, something like screeching at the door, at the window, or whatever. And then a couple of days ago, then they'll go, oh, the fire ants are really getting it out to us. They're overwhelming us. We don't know where they're coming from. We only have a couple of bullets and stuff like this to fend off the family. And then all of a sudden, bam, it ends where they're like begging for their lives and stuff like that, whatever. And then you just see their body skeletons inside of something like that. So it just like paints the story so crazy, dog, so good. It's like you don't really get that in most games. You know what I'm saying? That little attention to detail, you don't get that. It's just a whole different type of way to playing the game. You know what I'm saying? That's why Fallout 3 was one of my best games. But sadly I gotta put it in, ironically, the third spot, Fallout 3. But in any case, let's move on, because I spent a lot of time on that. But that's a franchise. I mean, a game near and dear to my heart. So
That's crazy that you would say Fallout 3 is the best game of all time for you.
well, I was telling you at the time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I consider that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the fact that you had said that, and now it's just a 3, is probably a testament to these next 2 games you're talking about. But
Exactly.
go ahead.
Exactly. So I thought about it long and hard. All right. I was like, okay,
I already know what one of them is,
this
but
is what it comes down to.
let's get it.
I was like, yo, this franchise set the bar as far as storytelling. And it wasn't really only this franchise, but it really hit it really hit the spot where it was like, okay, the last couple of games that this company made, they were good, but now they're starting to hit their stride. Now it's starting to get real. I'm talking about the Mass Effect series. Mass Effect series. The way they tell stories. The way they convey these characters, and they build on BioWare. That's what they focus on. They focus on characters. They focus on, it's almost like you watching the movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how I always compare like Fallout to Mass Effect series anyways. Is that Fallout was like you were there and you was experiencing all this. You was this person. Mass Effect is more as like you're watching a blockbuster movie, and this thing is crazy. The story is deep. You know what I'm saying? So basically, with the first Mass Effect, it's hilarious because you would think that the first Mass Effect is part 1, part 2, and 3 all in the same game. It's supposed to be a trilogy, right? 3 different games, Mass Effect 1 and 2 and 3. You think the first game alone is all 3 of those games because the way they did the story. I don't want to see, that's the touchy thing with story. You can't really talk about it too much because you don't want to spoil it. But some of the situations that they put you in that game, and some of the setups that they have in that game is like it's crazy good and it's deep and it's like, wow, like this is really going on. This is what's happening to these people, in this galaxy. So in that game, of course, is a space game. You know what I'm saying? But what they do is the writing is so well and it's so well done. It's more of, hey, we started from people. We're humans just like the humans in real life, and these series of events happen, right? And once these series of events happen, that allowed us to become, go to all these different races and all these different worlds and stuff like that. Now, it wasn't like, okay, something like crazy far fetched. It was like, okay, I can see that happening. You got like regular spaceships just like how you have now, and they can only go but so far. But there's something that's going on that they find, and that stuff can happen. So, like I said, I don't want to spoil it too much, but at the end of the day, Mass Effect, the way they build on the characters, the way they do the story, how well told is done, and it's not a kid's game by any means. It's a mature game. That's what BioWare does, and you have a mature tone in the game. And personally, I would say that people are probably hating me and people probably say I'm crazy and stuff like that. You know what? It's very tight knit between Mass Effect, because I would say Mass Effect 1 was a great game as an intro. Mass Effect 2 stepped the game up in every department and more. So much content, so much things to do. It was crazy, dog. And it was just like they it was some things that was faulty in Mass Effect 1 where, like, let's say for instance you have this vehicle. It's called the Mako, and you get to explore planets, like random planets. You take your ship, and then you take this little tank thing, and it's like a tank. You have a big gun on and everything. You're going around, and you're exploring the surface of the planet. Well, people felt like that was, on some planets, it wasn't that much going on. It wasn't that much content, so it started to get boring. Like, why am I going on the surface and all that? So they found a catchy way to skip all that and get you to the meat of the content and make it feel good, but not like really sacrificing it all that much. And it really like built upon the story. But I don't, like I said, I cannot spoil anything. That's why I'm not talking too much about the game specifically, because I can't spoil the story, and that's basically why it's number 2. So it's crazy that I would knock off Fallout 3 to put on this, but I don't say much about it. But at the same time, it's for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You have to really experience the game. And like I say, I'm fairly critical when it comes to games. So like I point out, what's the flaws, why I do the things I do, and why I say the things I say. You know what I'm saying? It's just not for no reason. I just straight up tell you what the facts is, and then I give my opinion at the end. So honestly, I think Mass Effect really set the bar for any game that tells a story, no matter what it is. Because the way they do it, it's just so rich and so well done. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing I can see that comes close to it is probably Metal Gear Solid. And the thing about Metal Gear Solid is that it's a bunch of cutscenes. And Mass Effect, you're more hands-on with it. You're the one that's making decisions. You're the one that's saying what you want to say. So doing what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you're basically what you are in the galaxy, you are a detective, right? Let's say you're a detective, just like Batman or whoever. And you're going around investigating people. And you have the choice to do it either the hard way or the easy way. You know what I'm saying? So be easy on the people, or get the information and kill them right after you did that. You know what I'm saying? Or do some crazy stuff, in the process of getting out that information. You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting, if you really think about it, at the very bottom of the equation, you don't really see that much games. You don't really see, okay, dog, like this person is investigating, but you don't understand like the things that he can do though. Like, yeah, you kind of like you're kind of like a cop, but you can be which kind of cop you are, and that's saying it lightly. That's not even telling you. I can't even tell you what he can do. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, Mass Effect is really worth checking out, dog. And if you're not really a fan of the sci-fi space, I still say check it out because really down to earth, the way they write. It's not no old nerdy or well this is how this is made and stuff like that. They do have stuff in the background written inside of little journals and stuff like that. You got a journal you can pull up on the screen and look up different stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's not like extra. They trying to explain to you every single thing while you're playing the game. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I love the game. It really left the impact. Had a lot of memorable experiences, and the series is probably better than a lot of movies I've seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? So if you want that just top notch experience when it comes to like getting the best out of voice acting and stories and stuff like that, you got to go into Mass Effect. I would say an honorable mention in that realm is Dragon Age. But I don't want to give it to Dragon Age because I wasn't really feeling the game that much, but it was up there when it came to that type of style. So in any case, as far as the favorite one, it's out of Mass Effect 2 and 3. And I think I have to give it to 3, and the fans and everybody's going to go crazy. Where Ace live? Tell me his address. I'm going to kick down his door and kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but I'm just telling you, at the end of the day, it's going to be 3 for the simple fact that it had everything. And people like, they really like to hang on 10 minutes of the game. The game is probably like 40 hours long. The last 10 minutes, that's what they like to hang on. They judging the entire game on that. What I did was I played it. I took it like it was the whole entire way. When it got to the end, I was like, okay, that's not exactly what I was expecting or what I wanted, but it wasn't terrible. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh my God, this was horrible. But it was more like, okay, they could have done so much more.
Did it disrespect? Did it disrespect the spirit?
You know what? You know why? What really people got mad at is you made a lot of choice. All right. When Bioware made the Mass Effect series, they said in the very beginning that all the decisions that you make in the earlier games carry on to the next game. So all the decisions you made on Mass Effect 1, if you decide to let somebody live or die, or you decide to make this new friend, they're going to show up in the next game, or they might not show up in the next game, depending on what you did. And so you had some crucial decisions you had to make in the first one. That was supposed to carry on to the last one. Crucial decision you made in the second one. That was supposed to carry on to the last one. So they felt like a lot of decisions that you made, and it wasn't even felt like, that's what it was. A lot of decisions you made was not really how it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? Like how it wasn't fully fleshed out, basically. Like it was either non-existent or bare bones. You know what I'm saying? So people wanted a lot more, and they got the DLC, the extended cut. I haven't experienced the extended cut, but from what I hear is it made it better, but it didn't fix it. But what I come to the conclusion of is a lot of people they have their own version, their own. Cause remember, the game is so personalized, based off of your own decisions. They want their perfect version of the ending that's in their mind. You know what I'm saying? And every individual is different. So of course there's going to be a lot of people that's upset because it's not the thing that they had in their mind. You know what I'm saying? But I respect that Bioware cannot have 1,000 different endings. And even that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? 1 million different endings. And, satisfy every player on what they wanted. They had to tell the story. They had to end the story. And that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, despite the ending, Everything else was 5 stars, 10 out of 10.
Five-star approach.
Yes, it was. I'm talking about it was like I would say it was better than any other Mass Effect in my opinion. The meat of the content from the beginning to like almost the end, all of that. If you just take all of that content and you stack it up against two, two is arguable. You know what I'm saying? Two was strong. It was a strong game. Like it was like wow. You know what I'm saying? Like this is hard. But and not so much one, 3 and 2 beat one easily. But personally, I chose 3. You know what I'm saying? So, with all that said, without further ado, I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
What you gotta do?
The number one spot. Scheme, plot. All right. You probably know. The people probably know. I already.
What they call you?
They call me for Skyrim. You know what I'm saying? For Skyrim. That was my YouTube channel. Skyrim. Did I say more?
Yes. Why?
All right. Skyrim, that game right there. All right, let me.
We demand an explanation.
or y'all gonna have an uproar? All right. This is what it comes down to with Skyrim. No other game. It's immersion. That's what it really comes down to. Is immersion. No other game handles immersion. You don't feel. No other game you feel like you there and you immersed in the game and you're like, wow, you know what I'm saying? That's me in that game. You know what I'm saying? I like Skyrim. Fallout 3 had it for a while. But the way it's funny is I found one of my friends on Steam right now is playing Skyrim as I speak. But in any case, the way the game is, and mods help a lot, but the way the game is, when you go into whatever dungeon you go to, or you go and explore the land, it's so well done, and it's so polished, and it's so evenly distributed across the entire map.
What's the word?
What's the word?
What's the word? What?
Distributed. the stupid. Yeah.
Good.
The entire map. I'm talking about it don't matter where you go, you are going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things what they did was improve on Fallout 3 as far as the AI and what they can do and little packages, like, you know what I'm saying, like as far as, okay, now you go into this spot and you found yourself inside a layer of bears, right? And they all sleeping, they hibernating, and you got to be very cautious because if you wake one up, that'll be you're dead. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just, and it's not only that. It's just like so much stuff. The expansive, like it's so deep and intricate. The way the game is, I mean, it's crazy, dog. Like you'll be doing missions. For one, we already know that in their games, you can go, like, if you see a mountain in the distance, you go to it, right? When you're doing a mission in the game, they hit you with surprises that you never really seen in the game. It's like wow, you know what I'm saying? And I can't tell you specifics because that would spoil it. What I can tell you is that you feel like you on an adventure, you know what I'm saying? And to the point where you feel like you in one of those like Lord of the Rings movies or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I'm on a mission. I got a purpose. You know? So the things that from a gameplay standpoint, the things that you could do in that game, you could not do in any of the old Elder Scrolls. You can't do it in the new one. I mean, in the Fallout or whatever. But what a thing that I like personally, one of the main things is the mods. Going back to the mods, is that you can customize the game and make it look so good that it probably will be competing with next gen games for a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about probably halfway through this next gen. Skyrim is still going to be relevant. Then you got the mods from the gameplay standpoint where let's say you got werewolves in the game and then you got vampires in the game. Well, you can have mods to make them so good. And it's the thing though, you have to play the game. You have to try what it was and then try the mod and be like, wow, night and day. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. But most of the things is night and day. And I kind of don't want to talk about mods too much because it kind of like takes away from the main game and why Skyrim is number one as the main game. But like I said, I hyped the game up before it came out a lot. I had, thoughts. I had ideas on what the game was going to be, and it was that and more. As a matter of fact, I don't know how they're going to be able to top it. I don't know how they're going to be able to top this game in the future. I said that about Oblivion, the last one, the Elder Scrolls 4. 5 is Skyrim, but 4 Oblivion, I thought they wasn't going to be able to top that. They did. The only probably like shortcoming I could say is they need to focus more on the people, like the NPCs, like the people in the towns and stuff like that. If they could make them like way more believable, that'll make the game so much better because it'll be like, you feel even more immersed. You know what I'm saying? People could be having conversations and stuff like that, and they do in Skyrim. But I want it with more like oomph. You know what I'm saying? With more emotional ties and stuff like that. Like my son, he was just about to get married, and now he got captured by these clan of werewolves or goblins or whatever, and you got to go save them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something more for the cause. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, honestly, Skyrim just brought so much to the table that I can see myself, and really what it comes down to is I can see myself playing Skyrim longer than any game on this list. You know what I'm saying? Like for the years to come, I can still see myself. Mass Effect, it's going if I replay it, it's going to be the same story. Nothing's going to change. Fallout 3 is comparable, and it's very like, okay, am I in a mood for guns or am I in a mood for like swords, magic, and werewolves and vampires? So it's a tough balance, but at the end of the day, I think Skyrim really hit home. You know what I'm saying? Everything I wanted, and it was the epitome of the last generation. And I'm really glad that they caught on, like with people, just in general, caught on to it, and it sold so much. It sold more than probably any other. I think it did any other Bethesda game ever. Matter of fact, I think it sold more than a lot of AAA games that come out on a regular basis. You're part of your favorite AAA's favorite AAA. You know what I'm saying?
$1 billion in one day.
Probably, I think it sold like I would say within the first month, 13 mil. That was the first month. By now, and not even including the DLC, which is probably like you buying another game. But it sold, I think it sold like possibly 20 mil, maybe a little less than that. But at the end of the day, that's a huge chunk of money. So to take all that greatness and take all that money that they made from it, which is probably more than they expected, and make a game even better than that, it's gonna be crazy, dog. I don't know how anything is gonna be able to compete. The only close competitors I see is Rockstar probably, and Rockstar is doing good things, but they have the same formula, same types of games. So it with Elder Scrolls and Fallout, there's so much more they can do because the hilarious part, the hilarious part about these games is that little small features that you would see in games today, those games don't have. They're still great. People still love it. But like something as simple as driving a car or being in a vehicle, they don't have in those games. They don't have, different like gameplay mechanics that you can do in games, but you really can't do in those the Elder Scrolls Fallout. You know what I'm saying? So like something like climbing, like how you climb in Uncharted, you can't do that in those games. But what if they bring all that to the table and more? You know what I'm saying? So I feel sorry for every other competition out there, but Bethesda is going to be that super company, and that's pretty much what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, hat goes off to Skyrim. I'm anxious to see because they talking about Fallout 4. That's what the people are talking about right now. I haven't seen, and I don't like to mention them, but I'm not even going to mention them. I'm going to say your quote unquote favorite game website out there, which should be Console Controllers, but anyway, I seen them. They talk about it on their podcast. What's the name? Fallout 4 rumors, right? So the people are talking about Fallout 4. If Fallout 4 drops with a bigger team, with more development time than Fallout 3 had, because it had only 2 years to make that greatness. You got 3 years, a bigger team, more people got their hand on it. Some of the best in the world. It's just going to eat. It's going to be a black hole. Nobody going to want to release games. Oh, Watch Dogs? Oh, well, whew. You think, Bob, we need to push 2015? Yeah. Uncharted 4. Nathan Drake may have to take a seat. We might have to push Kratos to 2015.
Watch him out.
Because it's going to eat up every game of the year. You can forget about it. It's almost like, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that, like I said, only Rockstar, since Rockstar just put out a game, you're not even gonna see them next year. So I don't really see anybody that can overcome them.
Rockstar they're gonna be gone for a while.
Oh yeah. Red Dead Revolution, I would call it.
Oh yeah, they might come with that.
Yeah, that's not coming out next year though. That would come out the year after, if anything. Maybe even another year after that. But they pretty good
they
on.
They might mess around, drop 2 games in 1 year.
I think they did that in the past because they do the Max Paynes and LA Noirs and this and that. So we'll see what happens. But like I say, whenever the Bethesda decides to drop that hammer, it's going to be a shockwave. It's going to set the bar, and people are going to have to try to catch up again. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. Like I said, they're not a game for like story and stuff like that. They are a game for immersion. If you want to feel like you there, if you want to feel like it's a struggle, like if you want to be on Walking Dead, you got to play their games. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. And people call it an RPG, and in some sense it is an RPG, but some people that doesn't play that game and never tried it before may cling unto that name, and they might dismiss it like that. Oh no, I don't like RPGs, nothing like that. It's a game. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's a game that you play, and there's just and what's hilarious about it is that the things that you see in the Bethesda games are starting to show a lot more in your favorite games. Assassin's Creed, you're hunting, you're skinning animals for materials. You got to craft a item or a new holster or something like that out of materials. Red Dead, cutting up rabbits. Shame on him. Shame on John. Cutting up rabbits just for some whatever he did. I don't know why. Why you did it in Red Dead again?
To survive. Oh, in Red Dead specifically,
Yeah.
it was just some stupid, like, I think points or
you just did it just to do it.
I want to say it didn't tie into the game in terms of survival. They should have did that though.
Yeah.
But it was some type of, I think, point system.
Yeah.
So
So, at the end of the day, all that stuff, your wildlife, your exploration, matter of fact, open world games, if you hadn't noticed, is the wave of the future in next gen because almost every game is going to be open world now. Like you are starting to see a lot of games starting to say, "Oh yeah, we're moving on to open world. It's seamless. We thought this would be the best step in our franchise or our future." Yes, it's coming. That's going to be the norm, and that it should be the norm because it's so much more options, so much more things you can do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it might not be open world. It'll be like a sandbox, so it'll be a mini open world. So if it's a shooter, like let's say Battlefield 4, for instance. You have this big like open sandbox. It's huge. It's like a big map. I mean, you can go wherever you want, but it'll still have like an end goal on where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? But you can use any means. You can get in a vehicle. You can stay on foot. Do whatever you want to do. So with that aspect, yeah, that's that. I think that's what's going to be the future. And Rockstar and Bethesda is going to be the flagship companies. When it comes to that. So that's that. After that long talk about it, that's how I feel, and that's the games. That was the games that really hit me last generation to be like, wow, this is it. You know what I'm saying? This is the bread and butter, if you will. So
that's how
go
you
ahead.
feel, huh?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
All right, Margo.
Oh, it sounds like you took that a little personal.
I'm good.
You took it a little personal.
Is Margo?
Yeah, it's your go. You good?
Oh yeah. Before I even continue, just reiterate again your top 5.
My top 5 was Gears of War, number 5. 1 to be specific. The first Gears of War. Battlefield 3. Fallout 3. Mass Effect 3. Wow, that's 3 threes. And Sky 3. Not Skyrim.
Sky 3. Wait, you went through that mega fast.
What?
5 was what?
5 was Gears of War, the first one.
Gears of War 1. Gears of War, right?
Battlefield 3.
Battlefield 3 is 4. Okay.
Fallout 3.
Fallout 3.
Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect 3.
Sky 3.
Skyrim. All right, cool. Well, that was cute. Your little list was cute.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're gonna get to the real list. The only list that counts.
That's a joke. Even you laughing at it.
And before I start, I want to premise this by saying to all the games that's on this list, you were always my favorite. So, with that said, I had a hard time with this list. I think I ended up with 8 on this list.
Oh, wow.
I had to shave some of them down. I think you helped me out a little bit by allowing me to add the series and then pick one out of the series. I may need a little help, man. I could not get it down to 5. I have 6 games, and I don't know how to get rid of one of them. I really don't. I tried. I looked try to manipulate. I took off the other
You
two.
did your research.
I did my research. I played them all again. I couldn't resolve. So I don't know how this is gonna work, but I'm gonna just start from the bottom.
Mhm.
Let's see where I want to go with this. Even, oh man, even the order is crazy. Trying to get this order right. But I'm gonna take a shot at it. I'm gonna start with 5. Oh, I will say that looking at my list, there's 2 games that came out this year that's on it. So 2 of my favorite games of this entire generation, ended up being in the last year of the generation itself.
Oh wow.
Um,
Well, I know where that's coming.
so I'll say that. So number 5 has a 5 in it,
Okay.
and it's GTA 5.
Oh, okay. I seen that coming from a mile away.
GTA 5 is pretty darn phenomenal.
Okay.
It starts off pretty epic, pretty good opening scene, and then the story just goes and goes and goes and goes, and it gets better and better and better. And the 3 character element really did justice. I thought that I wasn't going to use it as much when I first saw the promotion for it. Oh, play as 3 characters, switch from character to character. I was like, I ain't gonna be doing no switching. I'm good. I'm staying in one character. If anything, I think I was gonna, and I'm talking in terms of when they were all together. And you got one driving, one shooting, one doing whatever he doing. I was just gonna stay in that lane.
Right.
But and even with the individual, because you could pretty much do it whenever. I was gonna play out because I didn't know their stories intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
I was sure, I'm probably at some point they were gonna maybe run into each other, but I didn't know that their stories were so intertwined. Like it felt like I was playing Crash a little bit. I don't know if you saw Crash the movie, but
I thought you were talking about Crash Bandicoot.
it felt like each person's story ran into somebody else's story, even when they didn't know each other initially. It's just crazy like that. But the way it played out was perfect. It was beautiful.
Okay.
And the switching thing element is actually pretty good. And I think I mentioned to you off air that there's a situation where you're in a shootout. You might be in a shootout, and then I might have to drop on somebody from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, I can't see around the corner, or I can't get up to the roof or whatever. So the dude that's over there that has that vantage point, I can switch to him and get the drop on whoever. So the dynamic is crazy, and it's all this action going on at the same time. You switching. It builds for high adrenaline.
Right.
As I mentioned earlier in the cast, you could play dress up. I mean, you going in as a janitor. You going in as a fireman. You going in as a security. You get to scope the place out before you do your heist. You got blueprints of how you going to attack the spot, who you going to hire to go in the spot with you. All this affects gameplay and how fast you get out, how quick you evade the cops. You even get it gets crazy.
Yeah.
It gets crazy. So immediately I fell in love with the game. Like the game is, I want to play it again and again and again and try different things and different weapons. Even the weapons sound good. The mechanics, the silences, it just everything. I had to do a scuba diving mission. It was crazy. And the story itself is so well written that it had to go on my list. It had to go on my list.
Okay. So that was the last minute.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, I just
In
had to.
terms of the generation.
I had to yeah, it was yeah, of course, like I said, this game came out this year and the end of this year,
Yeah.
mind you. Um, but when I look back on all the games that I played, I felt like and there's games I left off here that I absolutely needed on this list.
Oh wow.
But I needed to put this joint on there because I had a blast with it and I still itch to go and play it.
Yeah.
And I ain't even crack open the online component like I should.
Okay.
Who knows what happens on that end of it? It's
Yeah.
just gonna be endless randomness, joining crews, shooting at crews, robbing banks, whatever you're doing out there. So it's crazy game, crazy game. Put that in there. That's my 5. Now, 4. I gotta give it up to the series. And that's The Dark Knight, Batman.
Okay.
I had to give it, yeah. I had to give it to Batman in that spot because it's what Rocksteady did.
It's what okay.
It's so much than just the game itself, even though the game itself was phenomenal. But the mark they made in video game culture, I felt was important. It was epic. I remember, I mean, of course, the stigma on video game, comic book or movie tie-ins always has a bad rep to it. So they had to beat that. They had to beat AAA titles. They had to beat that they was this is the first time them trying it. It was all this stuff against them, and they pulled it off. And ultimately, what got me into Batman is I played the demo, and I felt like I was Batman. They successfully made me feel like I was Batman.
True that.
And once I got that element, that's it. And the acting, I mean, the Joker, the scenes, and I'm talking about the first one, the very first one, it was special because you got the phenomenal acting from the comic book, I mean, from the TV series, and then you get these scenes. Everybody remembers the Scarecrow joint, very well integrated, it was just they did their job. They made everything made sense. Even I was looking to see if they was gonna make Joker overpowered or Penguin overpowered or whoever, and it made sense. If I got into a fight with the Joker, it was 2 hits and that's it.
Yeah.
Boop boop, he out. His thing is evasion and goons. Like 1-on-1 with Batman, he's not a match. So everything made sense, and they kept with the spirit of Batman, the gadgets, all the gadgets work phenomenal. Tying them all in together, it was just a experience that if you like Batman, you couldn't deny his power. Now, out of all of them, I think I'm gonna have to rock with City.
Oh man.
And for one reason and one reason only, they gave me my smoke bomb.
Oh wow. That's what it came down to?
That's what it came. It edged out by the smoke bomb. Nah, you know what it is? I feel like City peaked. It peaked out of all 3 of them. It gave me what the first one gave me, but it gave me a city, more space to play around in, and it gave me more gadgets, one being a smoke bomb. So you feel even more like Batman. You get in trouble, you throw the smoke bomb, you shoot the grappler hook, you out. You know, that whole, you can't dictate. I mean, you can't get that experience anywhere else. It just felt right. Felt like they took everything that was good in Arkham Asylum and then they just expanded it in City. So you got everything in City. And 3 was just more of the same. It was a good game too, but City is really where it peaked. And Batman Arkham, even though it set the tone and it made me fall in love, City brought everything together and gave me more gadgets too. So I rock with Sidious 4.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward, Ghost of Sparta.
What?
The Ghost. Ghost.
You talking about the game Ghost of Sparta? The little PSP portable?
No, I'm talking about the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, boy.
Mr. God of War.
Mm-hmm.
3. The only God of War that came out. I mean, the only console. No.
Yeah,
Ascension. Ascension.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Ascension.
I forgot about Ascension.
I wouldn't even say like the series. I think Ascension really,
What's bad?
it was unnecessary. If I could use one word to describe
Yeah.
its release, it was unnecessary. It's not a bad game. I mean, it's playable. It's more God of War. You do what you do, but it did not give me what it said it was going to give me.
And it didn't add to the series, huh?
And it didn't add at all. It was like, it literally looked like they took that game and said, we're going to put this out in the meantime. We need something to hold them over
Yeah.
so we can get to the real joint.
I think they wanted to compete against the God of War, too.
The who?
I mean, the Gears of War.
Oh, the Gears of War.
Yeah, there was a Gears of War that came out. I forgot what the name was.
Oh, yeah, that Judgment joint.
Yeah,
that little side joint they
yeah,
dropped.
it's like, and it was around the same time, and it's like the same type of vibe. Yeah.
Hilarious. Yeah, it really felt like, you know, it's so funny. The beginning of God of War Ascension is epic. I think the demo, actually, if anybody played the demo, that was probably the best part of the game.
Wow.
The entire game. When you played was the best part. Like, it felt crazy. I felt like I
So
was
you
about
telling me right now, all I got to do is go and download the demo,
go download the demo. You played the best part of that game.
and I'm good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the beginning and the end was the top 2 scenes in the game. But the beginning felt right. It felt good. But then it just didn't go anywhere. It just was like, okay, why is this game made? Like, it didn't touch on anything. So with all that said, it's a no-brainer. God of War 3. God of War 3 is number 3? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. God of War 3 is number 3 because one word, epic. It's epic. That's it. Like,
Yeah, it's epic.
you cannot duplicate that feeling of killing gods the size of mountains. The Greek mythology. I mean, it's hard to duplicate. Like, it feels bigger than life when you're playing through this game. And it gets right to it. Probably one of the best opening scenes in gaming history, period. And then it just takes you on this crazy journey, and it does things in games that I haven't seen. They graphics, epic. The scenes, the backdrops, epic. How he slays each god, epic. The blood,
Right. Visceral.
the blood that drips on you when you kill, everything brutal, epic.
Yeah.
So some of the things that stood out to me in God of War 3 was when you the first person kill cam. So you basically killing a dude, but you seeing it through his eyes. I felt like that was phenomenal touch, especially for God of War, which really has fixed cameras. I felt like I loved the fact that they went there with it, and they gave you that extra thing, and it looked so crazy. Like, you walking up on a dude, and you just see it from the dude's eyes. Another thing I love when they did was when this dude Helios blasts the light at you, and you put your hand up to try to block the light, and you walking closer and closer to him to try to kill him. I felt like that was epic. Like, that little simple detail of putting your hand up to block sunlight in your face, and you literally cannot see, and you have to use your hand to see, and then you get to him, rip his head off, and use said head
Yeah.
to go through the dark
Right.
and shine the light. That right there was, these are things that you can't get in any other game.
Right.
So my journey through that game gave me enough of a memorable time that it had to make 3.
Right.
So that's 3. Now we get in. Let me see. Yeah, I still got 3 more. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. All right, so my next one.
I'm sure you can knock one off.
I don't think it's gonna happen. If anything, we have to rediscuss the last bottom 3. But my third slot. Let me see. 6, 5, 4. Oh no, God of War 3 is the 4th slot. 3 for me. That boy Drizzy Drake.
Oh man, don't tell
That
me
boy
that.
Drizzy. Uncharted the series.
Uncharted the series.
Uncharted the series, man.
Uncharted the series.
Let me tell you, man. Uncharted, the first one.
The first.
Next gen. It's the game you want to show to your friends. It's a shining moment in console history. A game changer for Naughty Dog. They did a great job with 1, or the first one, and it's special to me because of that. That actually, I think that's the first game I bought outside of sports. I think it was Madden and Uncharted. And I was trying to decide between Uncharted, Assassin's Creed, and Heavenly Sword. And I did my homework, and I ended up getting Uncharted. And that was the best move I made.
You said Heavenly Sword, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted.
Yeah, those are the 3 I was trying to figure out which I was going to get first for my action adventure game. I wound up getting all 3 eventually, but to start off, I had to get Uncharted. And Uncharted, the first time I stuck my foot in that water and my leg got wet, I said, I'm here. This is it. So that Uncharted will always be special to me for that. It introduced the series. It introduced Drake as an iconic character. And it did its job. And what I really, really loved about Uncharted, well, one of the few things before I even say that about Uncharted that I noticed, I feel like they took the best from the best games that was out, and they meshed it into their game. They molded it into, so they took the mechanics of Tomb Raider, the cover system of Gears of War. They had Resident Evil elements in it in terms of the horror. And there was a couple of other games that I felt like, oh shoot, I feel like I'm playing this when I play this. So they took it and they did it and they made their own world.
Jet motor with the jet skis.
Oh, forgot about the jet skis. Oh, that was a crazy joint too. So they did a phenomenal job, and what I really, really loved about the series, and it made so much sense, and I was glad they did it. No boss battles. I think that's probably the first game that really didn't have boss battles that I played. Like, it was just straight human on human, going through waves, human on human, and it made sense. It's not supposed to be boss battles.
Well, you can
Right.
argue that the human could be a boss battle.
Well, he never even had those. If you're talking about the first one, he never even had those moments where, if you're talking about like um fighting a specific human in a certain fashion, those moments weren't even Uncharted. Even the end, he shot and punched, and that was it. It was like a regular human fight, and he got the best of him. He won. It wasn't really no fighting, no. This is the final boss.
True.
Do this. It was just
Dun,
regular,
dun,
real
dun, dun.
regular. A shootout that followed by somebody getting snuffed, and that was it. And I was like, yo, this is what gaming is supposed to be. So that set it off. And much like I told about in Batman, I think Uncharted 2 peaked. It took the very best of Uncharted. Graphics took a phenomenal leap. And then it gave me all this action and all this adventure in one game. So I felt like it peaked in Uncharted 2. So I would lean to Uncharted 2 as my favorite going into that fourth slot.
That makes sense.
Slot, sixth, fifth.
No, I thought it was third.
Third slot. That's going into my third slot because it took everything Uncharted did and times 100. Everything was on 100. So,
Yeah.
and 3 took a little, it wasn't as big of a jump. Good game, but it didn't do that next thing. So, I'm rocking with Uncharted 2 for that. So now top 2. Unbelievable. So 2 is not The First of Us, but The Last of Us.
Wow. You ain't first, you're last.
The Last of Us delivered what it was supposed to deliver. I wanted to argue that it was my favorite game of all time, but I don't want to give it the crown yet. I gotta really sit back and consider it. But I'm a huge zombie fan, even though they weren't particularly zombies, but they played that same type of role. And the action and the acting was phenomenal. I'm talking about everybody from the main people to the 6th and 7th person helping in the story. They all came together and gave off this feel. And you talking about Walking Dead? I felt like I was playing Walking Dead, the movie, the TV series, because it was to me, it wasn't even about the monsters. They just happened to be there. It was just about survival and human interaction.
Exactly.
And betrayal and how you going to react in certain situations, and they just happen to be the backdrop of what's going on in the overall scheme of things. But I really felt like I was going through an adventure of survival and just the interaction and the talk and how they trying to figure out how they're going to get out the city and real world reactions to certain things, certain scenes when you running from the monsters. And you get that epic feeling when you're trying to, like, 30 of them joints is behind you and you close that door. You trying to slam the door and one of them get their arm in there, and you shoot the arm off and you close and slam the door and you put a thing on top in front of the door and then you keep moving, and that right there, it was a phenomenal story.
Yeah.
And it delivered. It delivered on every level, and what more can I say, man? It's
The Last of Us.
I mean, the opening scene, the first 15 minutes, classic. I ain't had to play no more. I got my money's worth in the first 15 minutes. I was done. I was like, yo, this is they understand. This is good storytelling. They set the tone, everything. It was emotional. They did their job. They did their job on all levels.
Okay.
I just kept raving about the game. I can't believe how good it was. So that's my second slot. Another game that came out this year. And wow. So number one.
What you got?
Let me see. Before I get to my number one, I want to tell you that
You gonna throw 3 more on the list?
50 Cent, Blood on the Sand.
Crazy.
50 Cent, Blood on the Sand. Oh my gosh. That game was phenomenal. I wanna
People supposed to take your list seriously?
yo, I'm telling you, if you haven't played this joint, don't talk to me. You got nothing to say to me. Play it, then holler at me. But yeah, I just want to say that was a game I really had a lot of fun with. It can't get my top 5, definitely not. But as a pick up and play, don't take me too serious. Just all mechanics working together and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Replayability, especially I'm sad they shut that co-op off. If they kept that co-op, that would have even added another element to it. But that I really, 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 really wanted to put Splinter Cell on here. I feel like Splinter Cell might have the best gameplay, if not of all time, definitely out of these games I played. Out of all these games, including the ones in my top 5.
Yep.
I got the best gameplay.
Yeah, Splinter Cell's a pretty good game.
Addicting gameplay. I'll tell you, addicting gameplay. Gadgets. I feel like I was Batman almost.
Oh yeah.
with a regular human. I mean, Batman's a regular human too, but in that world, as an NSA spy, I felt like I really was equipped for battle, and I could approach it in a numerous of ways. And the way they do it, it's just pure addiction, bliss. So I wanted to sneak that in here.
Yeah, I really wish you could have played Conviction.
I know. I wanted to play Conviction. I'll probably maybe one day be able to play it. But yeah, I'm sad that I waited this long for it. I'm glad I caught Win a Double Agent, and it was just like on from there. But yeah, that game is phenomenal. I think the only thing that holds that thing back from taking over the game is its overall. They need a AAA. First of all, they got to get rid of that engine. That Unreal Engine is holding the series back. That lip syncing and the interaction between two humans, it don't look right.
Mm-hmm.
If they can get that right, if they could give me a believable, because the acting wasn't even that bad. It wasn't A+, but it wasn't bad at all. It was actually pretty good. They played a role. I got into each character and I knew what each character's role was, and they had their moments. They argued like a real team. It was good, and I think, but it wasn't AAA good. I think if they could get it to, and I don't know if it's just, I wouldn't even say it's the acting. I would say it's the engine. If they could make those two characters look like they're actually having a great conversation,
Believable.
make it more believable, and just put everything more on 10. The story wasn't, but the plot was so good that it carried it. But if they could bring that, that's the separation between that game and the game I'm about to say. But if they could raise their thing up, they probably gonna be one of my favorite games. Going into this new gen. I really, really also wanted to put Heavy Rain on here. Heavy Rain.
Heavy chocolate rain.
Heavy Rain was different. Its difference alone almost made me want to put it there just for that fact. And then I did things with my finger on the controller. I've never done it in the history of video games. I was playing Twister. My finger.
So
it was
it's a
crazy.
game again in a game.
And then the anxiety and everything that you had, the storytelling was great. The characters, I felt like they probably even to this day, I might say they might have the best character models. Um, the most realistic looking character models in this gen.
Compared to what?
Best graphics.
Oh, you talking about last gen?
Yeah, I'm talking about this last, whatever you want to call it. Last gen.
Last gen. All right. I picked a different, but it's all good.
You think, what game you think look better than Heavy Rain? Or besides Beyond Two Souls, probably.
LA Noir.
Nah, LA Noir don't look better than. LA Noir has better. LA Noir has a smidget better of believable interaction. But even that's not leaps and bounds ahead of it. I think it's on par. But I would give the edge to LA Noir as far as human interaction capability. But as far as just pure pixels, like who looks like a human, Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain looked freaking unreal. Like, and they wasn't shy to show it either. They zoomed up on it. It looked like you seen everything. Like it was.
Yeah.
It was. LA Noir was cool too, but it wasn't. I felt like I got GTA. I felt like LA Noir was GTA graphics, but with better facial animation. That's what I got from LA Noir. From Heavy Rain, it's just pure horsepower. Like you didn't need over the top facial animation, even though I feel like he did a great job with that. But they nailed how I think they came the closest to how a human should look. They actually made me get excited for next gen because I was like, if they pull this off in this gen, then there should be no. We're closer than we think to getting that human thing. Now these first set of games,
Candy Valley.
don't give me that feel yet, but I'm still optimistic.
Rise does. Yeah. Rise is what you're looking for.
Yeah, I still think it could get better than Rise. But yeah, Rise does look phenomenal. But Heavy Rain I give it the graphics king. This is the graphics king of this generation. I know a lot of people give it to Uncharted, but if you're talking about realistic graphics, Heavy Rain. That rain looked like rain. Like it looked like real people, real houses, real environments, everything. But anyway, those are the games that I really, really, really wanted to put on the list that I just couldn't for whatever reason get on. Now, back to my list. Number 1. My boy.
Huge.
Man. The
Mega.
myth.
Colossal.
The legend. The guy who's been putting in that work since 88. Trying to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping.
MGS?
Koji.
Oh, yeah. I knew it had to be him. I knew it.
Kojin. Let me tell you something about Mr. Kojin, the genius that he is. Mr. Kojima is one of the founding fathers of me being in gaming for life. Metal Gear Solid 2? Oh, buddy. I said, this is why I'm going to do this forever. And Metal Gear Solid 4 had to be my number 1. I just played it maybe at the top of this year before this flurry of games came out. I played Metal Gear Solid 4 again. And I was like, yo, this guy is a nut job. Like he's
gone.
He gone with it. His genius is let me tell you one word to describe why Metal Gear Solid 4 is my number 1 game. Depth. That Kojima might have the biggest depth in a game of all time. Because think about it. In games, you want to know the character, right?
Right.
For most people, it's good enough to know the character. What he feels, what he thinks, where he came from. You might even know his parents. but you definitely know you want to know that history, right? To tie you into the character and why he does what he does, right?
Right.
Kojima is on a billion with it. Not only do you know the character,
Hmm.
you know the character's moms,
Okay.
you know the character's pops,
All right.
you know the character's mom and pops.
Wow.
You know the enemy's mom and pops.
Woo!
You know the character's enemy's kids. You know the kids' cousins. You know the cousins of that aunt to that sister who ran in the army together and built a vendetta against your pops.
How about Uncle Earl?
You know the history of the history of the history. It's so deep and detailed. I know I know the name of the kid of an enemy from 5 games ago. It's just so detailed. I mean, too much depth. I mean, his friends, his friends, his friends' family. It's just too much. Like everybody pretty much in the game, you know their lineage. You tracing it back. I think he even literally had a timeline
Mhm.
of everybody in the game. It's like you literally following the lineage of the characters. So that's unparalleled. Then his storytelling is on A+. His details on A+. The graphics is on A+. I mean, it's genius. The CQC. I mean, everything is iconic about this guy. Snake, who he is, what he represents, his battles, his inner struggles, the story of Metal Gear Solid 5, having this thing that takes over super soldiers and controls them. And another word that stands out when I think of Metal Gear Solid 4 is memorable scenes. Like, he probably had the best scene, one of the best scenes in gaming history, with that fight between Raiden and Vamp.
Oh, okay.
One of the greatest scenes in video game history. Then you have so much epic scenes like him going through the microwave and the music that's playing. Then you see everybody that's going through their own personal struggle while you going through the microwave trying to save humanity. Then the fight at the end, the Street Fighter fight.
Oh, wow.
Everything in that game, like his fighting mechanics at the end, it felt like a polished fighter. It didn't feel like I was playing Metal Gear and fighting. It felt like I was playing a fighting game. And the way they told the story while you're fighting, how they talking through and they getting it in, it was just too epic. The music, beautiful. I think it's just everything came together. And I know people was upset about the cutscenes being too long, but I personally enjoyed them. I felt like it was, you know, it didn't. There was never a moment when I was like, all right, come on now. I was in it. I was all the way in it. It set the tone for what was to come. It felt epic. I remember even the scene where I think he sees Octopus. Even that story with the girls, the 4 sisters who one was, you know, crying wolf, one was screaming mantis, one was rage raven rage or whatever. Each of them embodied a character of a human emotion, and they had a backstory that was so crazy. And I think when he was going to see, I think he might have ran into a laughing octopus the first time. And he's going through the woods. I didn't even know he was in the woods. I just heard him talking. And all you see is a snake go over his arm. and he gets up, and I was like, oh shoot. He's in the woods, like he camouflaged perfect, and then he was moving. He just looked like a human. Like it was so epic. He was talking to Otacon, and he was setting up the scene. Like, yo, you gotta get in here. You gotta infiltrate. See what's going on. Boom, boom. And they laid a bunch of soldiers down. Looked like they was gonna execute them one by one, and you just at the top of the hill, trying to figure out how you gonna stop it or whatever the case is. Meanwhile, there's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. And you're not even a part of that war, but you got to go through the war just to get to what you need to get to.
Right.
It's everything's on 10. Everything's on 10 in that game. It delivered, and I just sitting back with this game. I'm like, this game it's too much depth in it. It's ridiculous how much effort and time and tying up the scenes together. This man Liquid kills it as a villain. Perfect villain. Killed his role. Funny guy. He delivered an epic scene himself. A great leader. He embodied everything a villain is supposed to be. And perfect. The fight, the boss battles were well done. It's just too much. It was just too much.
Yeah.
And I think that left on a cliffhanger too. Sort of. And so now that 5, we know 5 is a prequel of sorts. I want to see what's going to happen in the future. Like, yeah, Metal Gear 5 is a prequel.
No, Ground Zeroes is a prequel to 5.
Yeah, let me tell you.
So
Ground Zeroes is a prequel to 5, but 5 itself is a prequel.
Prequel to a prequel?
Basically.
Wow.
Yeah, this is not carrying on the story after the events of 4. This is carrying on the story between. He said it came after what's that handheld game he had?
Peace Walker. Okay.
And I think Peace Walker comes before 4. It may be even before 3. I'm not sure, because the dude is supposed to be Big Boss. It's not even Solid Snake as the main character.
Playing as the boss.
Playing as the boss. Yeah, so, but I want to see what's going to happen after 4, because 4, he say he going to retire. He was on that I'm retiring type of tip. Matter of fact, he's dying. He's dying because when he was a kid, he was destined to die. And they put like a super speed up aging thing in his bloodstream. So, and they basically saying he's a walking time bomb. So I'm trying to figure out how they're going to stop that process, because he's getting older and older and older real fast. And they got to figure out how he's going to tie that in. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4, my number 1 game. My favorite game this generation. And I had a blast with a lot of these games, and some of these games I like better than Metal Gear Solid 4 in certain areas. Like I feel Splinter Cell, that gameplay is crazy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if I could get Splinter Cell Splinter Cell gameplay with Metal Gear Solid 4, even though he's a different type of dude, especially now he's old, I think that would be the ultimate perfect game to mesh those two worlds. And if I could get Metal Gear Solid storytelling and character building and all that in Splinter Cell, that would be the game.
It'll be the crack.
Yeah. So each one could take from each one and make it the ultimate one. And it's funny, they both stealth games, and I'm glad I got 2 stealth games that I could rock out with now.
Yeah. That's good.
But that's my list, man.
So question is, can it be topped?
4? Metal Gear 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be topped. It could be topped by itself. This new Metal Gear might top it.
That's what I'm saying.
It could be topped. But it was so much in there, though. I ain't gonna front, though. I don't know, man. It was, because it could be topped on a lot of levels, but in terms of the story and how epic everything came together and the fate of the world, that feeling, it's like God of War 3. I don't know if God of War 3 could be topped from that standpoint. What's better than gods, killing gods? Like, what could we do after that? Like, I'm going to kill a horse? I'm not going to get that same feeling. It would probably be great. Even when they do the prequel, I'm looking forward to a real prequel. But that prequel may not give me that feel that God of War 3 gave me.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it could be topped on that level, because it felt like this was the last game. That's how it felt.
Right.
I felt like everything was just happening at the same time, and this was it.
Talking about 4, right?
4. I'm talking about Metal Gear 4 now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it could be topped in terms of that, but it could definitely be topped in terms of gameplay, in terms of I don't know, some other elements in there. Maybe even lowering the cutscenes, giving you more gameplay, stuff like that. It could top it, but the characters, it almost, it's so funny. I'm talking about God of War 3 and Metal Gear 4. I felt like they took every character ever and threw them in the game, and all of them had a fate. They either died or something happened to them or whatever that can't really make it the same after that. So, like I said, it felt like that final, like, hurrah, like everybody you ever remembered from, oh yeah, look at this dude, and just throw him in the game, and then
it was.
So I don't know what's gonna happen after, but I'm looking forward to this 5 though. It's 5.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my list, man.
All right, sounds good. But it wasn't as good as mine. Can't compete.
I had some beats on here. I ain't gonna lie, dog. I had some beats on here.
Yeah, it's cool. I played.
It's cool.
I played most of them.
Let me see. I'm looking at your list. I can't relate to half of them.
You can't fathom. You cannot fathom.
I don't really do RPGs. I'm trying to fall in love with RPGs.
That's the thing, though. See, you one of those people I was talking about earlier. It's not. It's not RPG. It's a game.
It's an RPG.
Just like it's
it's an RPG.
Hey. It's not Dungeons and Dragons or anything. You know? It's not Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, you know. By the way, I will say that what will make Skyrim, what will absolutely no hesitation make me get into any of those worlds, is if the problem I have with Skyrim and Mass Effect is the same problem I had with Splinter Cell. And Splinter Cell is not an RPG. I feel the human interaction is not where it needs to be yet. It's still very, hey, you going, like, especially with the pausing and all that, like, hey, you going to the store? Yes or no? Yes,
No,
I'm going to the store.
With Mass Effect, it's probably a little bit with Skyrim, but with Mass Effect, definitely no. As a matter of fact, Mass Effect has a little wheel that they invented that is very, very seamless, where basically it's like on an analog stick. If you move it up to the top right corner, you know that's a good thing. If you move it in the middle, you know that's a neutral reply. And if you move it at the bottom, you know it's a bad reply. Like, you're gonna do something negative. You're probably gonna end up shooting or beating up the person. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna be doing something crazy. So with that in mind, you know, off the top of your head, all I gotta do is, if I want a positive response, to go like that. Now, you could read it. You could read the little excerpt that they have, but even then, the excerpt that they have at the bottom is not exactly what what your character is going to say. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm just saying, like, that overall system is very hindering, and even not just the fact that you have to pick, because I like that. These are the things I like about RPGs, that you can choose your own joint. But I felt like, you know who nailed it pretty much? I think if I could get the best of both worlds, surprisingly, LA Noire. I think they nailed that element of choices, but still doing it in a normal humanistic way, where this, because like in Splinter Cell, he's talking and it's like, it doesn't look natural. Like, why are you standing in this angle? Why are you looking at him like that?
Yeah, why are you working on this? Why are you working on this weapon with this hacksaw and you looking at me?
Right.
About to cut off your finger.
Right. Or if I come back to you 10 times,
Mm.
I can talk to you 10 times and the first 3 will be very generic, like, hey, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
How you doing? And then it'll repeat itself. And then it's just like, all right, you're killing it. And then sometimes it don't make sense to what you're doing. Like if it's an emergency situation, we gotta go and handle this thing. And he's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
You're like, okay.
Yeah.
So
I agree with
you know what I mean? So that consistency, if I could get, all right, we running after this joint and you talk to me like a regular human being and I can move forward and feel like I have choices, that would be the ultimate for me. I will jump in.
Well, I think
first.
for that you could probably looking at The Witcher 3.
Mm.
The Witcher 3 has that type of stuff you're talking about, where they are focused on the way people interact with each other, and they are really focusing on basically everything being unique, so that when you do talk to people, it's not the same thing over and over, and stuff like that. So at that point, it's really apparent that now in Mass Effect you don't get that problem because you're always moving forward. You're rarely in the same area, and when you do come back, and that actually it's doing what you're asking for. Because now that I think about it, you'll talk to somebody, right? They'll say what they have to say. You'll leave, you'll do a mission, and you'll come back to that area or that city or that citadel. You'll talk to the same person, and they'll have something else to say. And that's not only with one person. That happens with the majority of the people. And I'm talking about interest and like experiences. Every time it makes you want to talk to them more and more. That's what I was telling you about character building, especially with your companions, the people that party up with you and help you along your journey. Like they always have something new to say. Not so much in the older Mass Effects, but you can tell it's all depends on budget and how much money the company has. And 3, they really knocked it out the park. 2, they did good as well. But 1, you had some conversation, but it wasn't as great. So I would say if you were to ever play Mass Effect, the first one should just play it. It does have the moments I was telling you about. It has the moments where you talk to a person and it changes, and if they allow you to talk to them again, they say something else and they tell you more about their story or whatever. But if you keep going to your companions on your ship and stuff like that, they eventually run out of stuff to say. But like I say, if you're playing 1, you more want to kind of like streamline it through the game. And then when you play 2, you can, talk more and more. And I'm talking about some interesting stories to tell, like back in their past and what they had to deal with. And it's crazy. And they have emotional problems and stuff like that. It's crazy. So and it's a level of personal, like it's a very personal game. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're talking to the person, like 'cause you feel like you're talking to that person rather than talking to a generic person. If you feel what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, Mass Effect does it great. Now Skyrim, I can't really argue that. Skyrim does have that. Well, even in most Bethesda games, because there's so much NPCs, everybody can't have nothing, something interesting to say. But they try their best at it, and with each game, you see they get better and better at it. You know what I'm saying? So, like with Skyrim, for instance, they did have some instances where you talk to somebody and they say something, and they want you to do something, and then you go back, and then they'll, say something else, and they'll do it, whatever. But it's not on scale of something as grand as Mass Effect, because Mass Effect, that's what they specialize in. They specialize in character building. They specialize in doing the storytelling and stuff like that. So you're going to find more unique areas. And I'm talking about in Dragon Age, you talk to them. Matter of fact, you get to the point where, wow, like when are they ever not going to say the same thing? I mean, when are they ever going to say the same thing? Because they have so much different things to say. There's never a time that they repeat something. It's always, always, always something new. It's like, wow. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't really feel like it, you're playing the game at that point. You feel like you're on a journey. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's always something new. You know what I'm saying? So and for how long the game was, which was like 50 plus hours,
Hmm.
you like, wow, like, are they ever going to run out of the stuff to talk about? Well, no,
Hmm.
all the way to the end. Mass Effect on the same level, but not as much, I would say, because I would say that Dragon Age was a masterpiece when it comes to story and really hitting that thing. Mass Effect was more spread out through the series. You know what I'm saying? And Dragon Age wasn't really a series like that because two wasn't all that great. It was kind of rushed out by EA, so that's a whole nother thing. But in any
Hmm.
case, yeah, yeah. If you wanna
So,
if you wanna look at that type of stuff, I would say look at Bioware.
all right, cool. So with that said, let's get to this letter for the better.
That is
Um,
better.
for those not familiar with this segment, we just basically pick a game
All right.
that we have some issues with that we feel like should get better, hence the word better,
Mhm.
and we write, not literally, but virtually, I guess, um, our feelings on the particular issues that we have that we feel like developers should look at and consider going into their next game, um, in a letter form. So,
Right.
with that said, I don't really think I have a letter for the better. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of games I feel passionate about and I feel like can do some things that I like. Um, but for this week, I'm gonna have to bow out and let you handle that. So, what game is on your list?
Well, I'm just gonna keep it simple and short, but I do wanna talk about Battlefield 4 and the Battlefield series for now on, moving forward into the future, and it may tie into the new Star Wars games coming out that they're gonna be doing too. Well, I think they personally,
Dear Dice.
Dice, Dice. I'm sorry, Dice. I mean, I had to call you Dave because I couldn't play your game because you didn't patch it. But in any case, um, they're Dice, right? You make great games, but with Battlefield 4, right? I personally think you guys need to focus on the story more. It's apparent that people love story. It's a trend that's going on now more than ever because you're starting to see it in more and more games. More and more games are starting to take themselves more seriously. They're starting to. They're really. When I say taking themselves seriously, I really mean trying taking themselves seriously compared to Hollywood and the movie industry.
Mhm.
They want to compare. They want to be better. They want to have a source where people don't need to watch movies because they get so much more with playing the game. So that's why story is taken more seriously more than ever. So with that said, I think with all of that money that you guys get, first and foremost, you need to focus on having a better story than you usually have and a compelling story. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out, uh, like hugely thought out story that will take some great writers like Tolkien or somebody like George Lucas or something like that to write. All I need, eh, all I really need is a basic, compelling, you know, heartwarm story to the point where how like sometimes when you go to an action movie and you expect just action and it touches you a little bit, you're like, oh wow, this has some good scenes in the movie aside from the action. Prime example, Man of Steel, right? Man of Steel was an action movie, but it had some scenes on a personal level and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is You guys can have your war. You guys can have your guns. You guys can have your bombs. You know what I'm saying?
It is a
Yeah,
military shooter.
yeah. It is. It is a military shooter, right? So you can have all of that, but have it for a cause. Now, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Let me break this down. If you were to watch the Star Wars, right? Now, I know this might throw some people off, but it's ironic that they're making a Star Wars game anyway. But besides that, throw some people off, right? Star Wars, I don't really like Star Wars, whatever. But hear me out.
Who don't like
They,
Star Wars?
yeah, some people don't. But hear me out. Hear me out. All right. They got this thing called Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It's a little animated series, right? And basically, they have some episodes where it's only about the clones, and the clones are basically commandos. They're like in the military, just like in the military shooter game, like your game like Battlefield, right? Now, in some of those episodes, they touch on different subjects and different trials and tribulations that soldiers will go through. Sometimes they may have to work together as a team. Sometimes they might not always be on the same page. One might be more, he might take more chances than the other and risk his whole team. One might backstab the other for his own, purposes or whatever. One, or they might be on a journey and all of a sudden they get sidetracked along the way with helping this person that was trapped here, and they needed help, so you need to all of a sudden your mission goes from shooting and killing the bad guys to, hey, I just found this person along the way, I got to take them to safety and I got to escort them back to wherever, and then we can handle the mission. It's just so much stuff you can dig into, and so much little personal stories that you can do that you're not doing, because you're not. What you need to do is you need to either, if you're gonna have one protagonist every game, try not to change him every game, because every time, that's the first mistake. Every time you change that protagonist, you just erase the last one. And if you're coming out every year or every 2 years, people don't get emotionally attached. You're just playing another generic person. But if you can somehow
Yeah, that's
build
huge.
build upon a person, and from game to game have them as an iconic character, and not only that, have people that surround him, right, be as good characters as he is. So if something were to happen to him, you can continue the story as someone else that was one of the other characters. Or you can start a whole new series if you want. You could do whatever with it. But the point is, you really got to establish a foundation for story. Because if you don't do that, you're really going to just keep going down in the drain and the drain and the drain, just like water going down the drain. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yes, it's going to be a great multiplayer game. It's going to be an experience that nobody could get anywhere else as far as multiplayer. But the franchise that you made, if you want to get into the realm of single player, if you say you ballsy enough to get into the realm of single player, you need to be able to, at the very least, compete on a small scale. You may not have to be as long and as intricate and dynamic and stuff like that as these other stories from other games, but you still have a story that can be taken serious pretty much from people. You know what I'm saying? Or you can have a story where you have multiple characters and you play as multiple characters as you go out through the game. So you have a pilot, you have an infantry guy, you have a guy that does tanks, and they all know each other. They all meet up. They all know each other's family. They all know their uncle, their mom's mom, their dad's dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
Everybody can't be Metal Gear Solid.
And I was messing around with that, but they all know each other and stuff like that. So it'll be some times where they all convene with each other and they all come to one place and they kick back and relax and talk to each other. But when it comes down to war, They're off doing their own thing. So you take the role, you as the player take the role of pilot on one mission, or you take the role of the infantry guy on one mission, and you just build upon those people, and then it just will be just that much better, and it will make sense, you know. So yeah, that's my main thing with your series. Either drop story altogether, no more single player story anymore, or compete in a playing field. That is all.
No pun.
No pun. And that's my story, Battlefield and Dice. Oh, please don't mess up Battlefront. You got Battlefield and Battlefront, but please don't mess up Battlefront because Star Wars is huge. And if you want to do a good job, you got to have a half decent story. Look to you have so, and the sad part is that they have so much resources to look at for storytelling. Everything ever created out there is a resource to be like, okay, that's my inspiration. You don't have to copy, you don't have to paste, but at the same time, what you need to do is look for inspiration if you're struggling in that department. I believe the game director of DICE did say Sweets. He was talking about Swedish people are not really great at story. I beg to differ. And if you really feel like the way and you really feel passionate about that, hire some people in other areas that's good in story. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know y'all got the money because y'all make crazy amount of money.
Mhm.
So, EA, I'm looking at you. Anyway, that's all.
Sincerely, Tactical Ace.
Yeah, sincerity, Ace from Console. I'll just leave it like that. Ace from Console Controllers.
So Tactical Ace.
No, Tactical Ace 42.
42. He went to 42.
That's my PC name.
Clowning.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So that will wrap the show.
Right.
Not a show. What are we calling this?
We call
I don't
it
like
dose.
shows. Shows sounds too corporate.
This is dose, man.
This is Rap Dose 11.
Mm-hmm.
You know, controlled substance. I'm SchollA, of course. Ace, what's your name? Tactical Ace 42.
Nah, I'm Ace. You know, catch us up.
This part that we're about to do should mean a little bit more to you now that you experienced the Force life.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody,
Right, stand up.
Everybody, all gamers around the world, stand up.
Uh-huh.
On the count of 3. Gonna salute. How we do it? I forgot.
Oh, no.
We go on 3. Go salute.
Oh yeah, you get up. We salute.
What? That's not how we said it.
How do we not know our own identity? We do 2 backflips. We salute.
Well, basically, you go stand up. And you go salute.
Yeah.
All the other games around the world. And on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Controllers.
Controllers. That's what I'm talking about right now.